what are you afraid of? Those feelings are made up. For anyone asking who is the best, we putting our hands up.
4 more kilometers. Oh, there we go! They cut!
This time, like the last time, I'm moving so fast, I'm ready to ride.
Frankie! Down to the inside of Hoosie's off!
Messenger throws the block, and he will keep him behind him.
My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. Lower the lights down, hand over my crown, hand over my heart. I do this for my town, I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. Turning the track up, I'll never go back down. Hand over my heart, I do this for my town, I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop.
So, you want to race in NASCAR. The road starts here. Introducing the eNASCAR Ignite Series powered by iRacing. This is the gateway for all aspiring 13 to 16-year-olds. Starting June 20th, ignite your dreams of one-day racing in the top tiers of NASCAR. Go to www.iracing.com/ignite for full details.
Last time out, it was wall after wall after wall at Belle Isle in Detroit. Tonight, it is a different set of walls. Let's make it a safer barrier as we head to the shortest track in the classic IndyCar series for 2018, boosted by Logical. Welcome to Richmond. Richmond Raceway for round number 7 of the championship. Let's have a look at the championship up on your screen first. Will Vincent along with Jack Stars. And well, Jack, Henry Bennett has almost got one hand on the trophy already.
He does. He's had a great start to the season. This is obviously the last round before we go to the summer break. We're going to have about a month off before we come back in around 5-6 weeks' time for the Pocono 500. But a couple of names, obviously Henry Bennett doing well so far in qualifying and doing well so far in the whole season. Although a couple of names starting to creep in and could have a challenge for that title come the end of the season.
Yeah, Matt Cook, of course, in 3rd place in the championship. Decided that he wanted to go and break an arm, so he's not racing at the moment. Although, as I said last time out, Jack, that's not an excuse. We've seen the Vortex and Racing drivers do it over the past to Joel Guiz. So, I mean, this is just turning left, right? Not that hard.
It is indeed, and Matt Cook is here this evening.
Yes.
He is racing, so Matt Cook has made a comeback. Obviously, his arm is feeling a lot better than it was 2 weeks ago at Detroit, so the 46 driver of Aero X feeling like he is good enough to go out. And obviously, Richmond is not too bad. We have seen practice, the amount of practice that drivers were getting. They were almost doing double the race distance in practice, Will. I was seeing 450, nearly 500 laps of practice. Yeah,
this race can go very, very quickly if it stays green. If it goes yellow, let's not forget, last time we were on an oval, there was a total of 18 cautions, Jack.
Yeah, when we went to Milwaukee, which is slightly longer than here, only a quarter of a mile. Come to Richmond, it's 3/4 of a mile. We have got a smaller field here today. It's only around 27 cars, so it's not going to be as hectic out on track. But hopefully we're going to see a lot of green flag racing, because if we do, it's going to be exciting racing.
Yeah, let's have a look at the track. It is less than 7/4 of a mile. It's less than 3/4 of a mile. 1.160 kilometers for those of you like the metric system. 250 laps are going to be racing for here today. And well, it is humid. That is the one thing that is worth noting. But because it is a race under the lights, it will make it very interesting in terms of how hard it is to run in dirty air.
Yeah, indeed so. Of course, the humid air is going to really help. It's very moisture. It is quite cool. It's only 24 degrees Celsius, but again, for nighttime, actually, that's warm compared to what it would be if it was daytime. Daytime, we'd see even hotter, I suspect. So, of course, that track condition is going to play into it. We're looking at stint lengths for around 100 to 105 laps. So, I'd probably say we're going to see around 2.5 stints to get these drivers home.
As ever, I want to say thank you to a few people. Isran Balau, TrackCams22.com, to Andreas Warner and Warren Design for our overlay design, and Simon Grossman, of course, Aptioneering.com for ATVO and development. Race.tv, live timing and scoring, presented by Nick Thisson for that one. So, 20 seconds after qualifying, we'll show you the starting grid in a moment's time. But Jack, restarts are key here.
They are indeed. The first start is going to be important. It's going to cement your track position for the first run. The restarts are even more important, especially when you've got drivers who might have pitted. They're going to have full tanks of fuel on newer tyres than those on older tyres, and that difference is very, or it can be shown very much on a shorter track.
Yeah, indeed. So that is qualifying in the books. Let's put up your starting grid for this event. And Randy Krosno has himself pole position, 15.949 in qualifying. Henry Bennett, series leader, is alongside him on that front row of the grid, Jack.
Yeah, good front row for those two. And of course, Henry Bennett does need to score as many points as possible. His advantage at the top of the top piles, though, is around 130 points. So he hasn't got too much to worry about here today.
Yeah, third place, they say, Sasha Lamp. Fourth place is Sam Sanders here today, as we're just going to cycle that grid on for you. 2 pace laps here, because this track is shorter than 3/4 of a mile. So that gives the drivers another 30 seconds to gather their thoughts.
Yeah, obviously, even though it's 2 pace laps, they are going to go very, very quickly. And it must be noticed that Sam Sanders is making his debut, or he's making his first start of the season. He's been freed from the hell of GCSE exams and is now getting underway in the Classic IndyCar Series for the rest of the season, racing for 1050 Barbanera Racing and looking already to be a strong contender for the rest of the season.
Do GCSE still exist?
Yeah, they're not very pleasant.
No, that's right. Neither A-levels, neither university degrees, especially not writing a PhD, I'll tell you that one. A couple of rear grid penalties here today for drivers. If they were to be here, Andy Warner, Nell McBride, Andrew Wood and Klaus Pedersen, that is due to having 3 warnings over the course of this season. If they don't serve it here, they serve it on the next time they are on track. 2-hour time limit here today, Jack. We hope we won't get to the time limit.
Hopefully not. Most of the over races we've seen so far this year have hit that 2-hour time limit. Actually, I don't even think we've had one that's reached distance on oval, so I'm hoping that Richmond is going to be the first one. Obviously, the lap is around 15 seconds. It's very fast in these Indy cars. So if we have long spells of green flag periods as we hit that 2-minute mark, all the drivers now line up on the grid, getting ready to go behind your rough, or sorry, not the rough pace car, the Mustang pace car, iRacing pace car, as it looks as though the 6th position car, or 5th position car, Matt Molnar, gets going a little bit before everyone else, but everyone now on rolling for those 2 pace laps. And if we can get good green spell periods, we're going to be reaching that 250 lap mark before we reach the 2-hour mark.
Yeah, by the way, Denmark has scored, for those of you that are interested in football. Glad you're with us instead. We have got our VR on board today with the driver of Joshua Bard. And you can see that on the right-hand side of your screen as he's getting himself ready to go racing. We'll check in with Joshua. We'll also have a chat a little bit later on with Lucas Laville. Not running here today due to some health issues, but we are going to have word with him. I just saw a driver. Oh, he was just trying to get himself out of the way. That's absolutely fine. So, we are almost ready to get set then for 250 laps around this Richmond Raceway racetrack. But one more tour around the track behind the iRacing pace car first. Randy Krosno going to be leading this one from the very, very front here today. Crosno joining the 2018 Classic IndyCar Series, his debut season, his first pole position, as we have a look on board with him in that Aero X racing machine. Down the back straight away, you want to make sure you get yourself a good start and good set of restarts here. Restarting on old tyres will be hard, and it may well be very, very difficult for drivers. But for the time being, sit back and relax. We are going green in the Classic IndyCar Series. Pace car is in. Green flag is out. Let's go racing. Good start, surviving through the first couple of laps there, Jack.
Yeah, everyone off to a nice clean start. Obviously, the practice starts in practice, paying off. A couple of drivers moving their way up the field at the back. Looks as though Matt Cook is going to get himself past Sasha Lamp. He started third and already is down to 6th position for Sasha. And that Talk Through Racing number 42 machines. Matt Cook gets loose through turn number 3, almost collecting Sasha Lamp. Sasha Lamp has to go high to avoid him. We're already on lap 4. This is how shows how quickly this race goes. Fastest lap of the race is changing all the time. Joshua Baird currently holding that. Just to show how fast the lap times are around here, he's done a 16.423 on full fuel.
Yeah, so there we are, already working ourselves on lap number 4, lap number 5 of 250 here today. Having looked down the field, here is Robert Grosser. We're right on board of him, currently running in the 10th position in that number 1 machine, as he's got himself Rory Collins just ahead of him on track. Now, tyre drop-off, it comes very quickly here, so his in-car tools are going to be incredibly important, but it does get very hard to overtake over time, Jack, and that's going to be one that will be very interesting to have a look at.
Yeah, indeed. So those drivers are going to be working those in-car tools very, very hard today, because the car is going to be changing with every single lap. Running a high line compared to a low line is going to be slightly different as well. As Sasha Lamp looks like he's going to try and put a little bit of pressure on Sam Sanders, get his way up the field a little bit more. Talk Freak Racing actually will. They've actually come on in the last couple of races. They won at Belle Isle at Detroit 2 weeks ago. Sasha Lamp is up at the front of the field. Usually I see him down in the mid-pack.
Yeah, indeed so. So Talk Freak Racing really getting themselves with an IndyCar presence in this series. They're more well known for running in kind of GT-style cars. We were on board with John Elsweimer, just moving himself past Rory Collins up into... Nope, he's going to lose that position again. So Elsweimer back down into P number 9, scrapping it out with the driver of Rory Collins, and Hans Pitkenham losing a position as well to Joshua Bard. Front in your field, though, Crosno does lead, and he's got himself 4 tenths per second over Henry Bennett.
But those two drivers have managed to break away from that driver of Matt Molnar. Matt Molnar now has dropped to 2nd behind that 007 orange machine of Henry Bennett, and that is going to be important for those two leaders, because as soon as they can get that gap, as Matt Cook makes his way past Sasha Lamp for position number 5, and once those two leaders can break away, they've got themselves a little bit of a barrier, so that if there's something goes wrong or they get slowed down by traffic, they aren't going to be under pressure from the cars behind as fast.
Yeah, got a replay up. Jos van der Ven and a big incident, but it was off the racing circuit. He's able to bring that car on towards pit road, but the number 167 machine, huge impact for him. Yeah,
that's unlucky for Jos van der Ven. We're only 10 laps into this race, and to have an incident that big, that car had a lot of crabbing going on as well, Will, in the 167. Just looks as though a little bit of contact maybe between himself and another car, but of course he could keep himself... Yeah, that's it. Andrew Aitken and Jos van der Ven collecting each other in turn number 3. Luckily, we stay green for now as Jos van der Ven rejoins the track, and he is being swamped by traffic.
On board of Matt Cook then in the number 46 machine, driving with the broken arm. Matt Molnar is ahead, and again, the longer this race goes green, the more it's actually going to hurt, I think, Matt Cook, because this is a pretty brutal track. I joked earlier on about, yeah, it's just turning left, but it is hard, and that exit wall of turn number 2 is always looming as Matt Cook right now behind Matt Molnar. Henry Bennett also right behind Randy Crosney, down to the inside for Matt Cook, and he is going to get that position back into 3rd place then. For Matt Cook is ahead of him. Bennett is putting the pressure right now onto Crosno.
Indeed so, and it just looks as though Henry Bennett and Randy Crosno were trying to do a little bit of bump drafting out of turn number 1 and 2. That's not going to work in an IndyCar, I'm afraid, guys. It's not what it's designed to do. Matt Cook, though, he's already closed the gap between himself and Henry Bennett to 0.3 of a second. So he's obviously got some pace, but I think as we go on, he's going to get tired out, because I suspect he's only driving with one arm. We've got a yellow Davis Estello. The 058 machine looks like he's involved.
First yellow of the day. Replay on board with Estello. Yellow line. Nope. Back end on the exit of turn number 2. That SunTrust barrier is going to get a lot of whack today.
Yeah, they're going to get a lot of airtime for them, and it just looks as though for Davis Estello, those in-car controls were slid up just at the slightly wrong adjustment for the 058, and well, there's nothing more inviting than that concrete wall on the inside of turn number 2.
Yep, that means Randy Crosno is just going to wait now for the iRacing Ford Mustang pace car to work itself past. Top 8 along the bottom of your screen. It's Crosno from Bennett, from Cook, Molnar, Lamp, Sanders, Garrett, and Collins. Of course, single file restarts, Jack. So what that means is that everyone is going to be hugging the outside line. The good news that means is that the outside line does get a bit of rubber into it.
Yeah, that's actually a good thing for drivers who want to make an overtake, because if the outside line can get rubbered up a little bit more, it means there could be a little bit more grip, and it will help them as the race goes on. Obviously, it does, of course, depend on how many cautions we get throughout this race, but also it's a good thing, bearing in mind that this track it is quite narrow compared to some other ovals that we do see in the Classic IndyCar Series, and having 2 wide starts can sometimes be quite tight, as we actually see quite a lot of drivers already bringing themselves down onto pit lane.
Yeah, that's interesting. Let's have a look then. Towards the rear of your field, Carson Bodaway, Andrew Adair Saunders, Jack Turner, Noel McBride, Andrew Aitken, Jonathan Diggs, Jos van der Ven, I believe, will stay out. We'll get a graphic up on your screen showing the people coming out of pit road in a moment's time. No, they've already all come out of pit road. So they came in and they came out pretty much at the same time. We are going to have a look then back at Crosno. One of the things about this track as well, because it is such a short track, cautions do take a little bit less. You get a little bit less time in terms of breathing room.
Yeah, that's sometimes a good thing for drivers, and because it means that they're not getting too relaxed. You want to stay quite pumped up. If you get too relaxed, that can actually hurt you quite a lot when it comes to the event. And for some drivers, actually, that can be a bit of a downside, because if you lose that adrenaline rush, lose that concentration when the restart comes about, you could make a very, very big mistake.
Yeah, lights are still, though, on top of the pace car. We'll be back in just 60 seconds' time.
So what are you afraid of? Those feelings are made up. For anyone asking who is the best, we putting our hands up.
4 more kilometers.
Oh, there we go! They touched!
This time, like the last time, I'm moving so fast, I'm ready to ride.
Frankie! Down to the inside of Hoosie's off!
Passenger throws the block, and he will keep him behind him.
My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. Lower the lights down, hand over my crown, hand over my heart. I do this for my town, I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. Turning the track up, I'll never go back down. Hand over my heart, I do this for my town, I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop.
Lights remain on top of the pace car for the moment. 22 laps out of 250 score completely have now gone off. That means we are going to go back to green flag racing this time by. Right, timing and scoring is now available. Visit raceball.tv/timing for that one. Okay, restart time, Jack. It's all about now just making sure you keep calm.
It's all about, as well, how you manipulate that throttle. We talk about it every single over race we go to. That 9,000 RPM kill switch in first gear in this car will bite if you hit it. We've seen it plenty of times so far this season. So those drivers not only have got to stay calm, but have also got to be very careful when increasing the throttle and increasing that RPM.
Yeah, let's have a look then. On board. Well, pace car's in. So here we are, back to green flag racing with Randy Crosno. You can see building up the speed to 155 miles an hour in towards turn number 1. Behind, actually, pretty nice, quick, clean restart.
Yeah, that's what we like to see. Andrew Aitken getting himself past one of the drivers further down in the field. Randy Shoemake getting himself past Hans Pitkanen as well. Sasha Lamp looking like he wants to put a little bit of pressure on Matt Molnar. Matt Molnar actually, he has made up a couple of positions on where he started, but it looks as though the pace isn't there at the moment. Matt Cook, though, still currently sitting in third with that broken arm, and I think as we go on, he might start to lose speed a little bit. Vasilij Olia getting himself past Andrew Adair Saunders this time around as well.
Henry Bennett really putting the pressure now on to Randy Crosney, out of turn number 2, down the back straight away. Let's have a look on board with him then. As you can just see, maintaining a speed of, well, actually, he's got a really good run over Randy Crosney in towards 1. He linked about looking down to the inside, not able to do anything. It looks as though that they're being able to go about 10 miles an hour faster into 3 and 4 compared to turns number 1 and 2 here today. But the thing is, turn number 1 is your better overtaking opportunity in normal situations as well. For Bennett, he's actually lost out a little bit. I think that dirty air does get to you very quickly.
It does indeed, and Matt Cook now has joined this battle for the lead. We do have a 3-car trade for the lead as Matt Cook getting very close to the back of Henry Bennett, just avoiding contact between those two drivers. Matt Molnar, though, is not that far behind. The two leaders haven't been able to get a breakaway like they did on the first start. This restart actually has kept the top 16 all in a very long train.
Well, I mean, in some ways, that's a pretty good thing, because what you don't want to have to deal with is lap traffic about 5 laps from a restart, because lap traffic here will be a big factor, as here comes Cook down to the inside of Henry Bennett. No, not just yet.
No, Matt Cook cannot get the move done down into turn number 3. Looking through turn number 1 as they cross the line, start lap number 31. They're going to go side by side. He's forcing Henry Bennett to the high line. That's where Henry Bennett's going to be slower. They're still going to be side by side of 2. Henry Bennett actually getting a better drive off the corner, and Cook still defending that inside line. They're going to stay side by side through 3 and 4 this time. That's something you don't see very often on ovals, is 2 drivers staying side by side for a whole lap.
Yeah, and I'll tell you one thing about that one as well. Because of that, it meant that Crosney was able to pull out a couple of tenths per second. It's all been gained, and that's the 3rd time today that Cook's almost run into the rear. So here comes Bennett to the inside of Crosney. Bennett, after almost losing second, goes to the race lead.
Yeah, it looks as though the almost instant between himself and Matt Cook might have thrown Randy Crosney off a bit. Randy Crosney actually taking a slightly higher line through turn 3 and 4 than Matt Cook. That could be what's helping the drivers behind. Matt Molnar now getting involved in this one as well. So Matt Cook looking down to the inside through turn number 2. Not going to be able to get the move done. I don't think he's close enough to make a move into turn number 3.
Yep, teammates then. Of course, Randy Crosney, team boss at Aero X Racing. But here comes Cook to the inside of Crosney. Got him.
Crosney actually looks like he's hit a wall of some kind, because his pace is not there anymore. Last time around, he was a 10th slower than the driver of Matt Cook, 2 tenths slower than Henry Bennett. Look at this, he's about to get swamped 3 wide almost by the drivers of Matt Molnar and Sasha Lamp. This is your battle for position number 3. Matt Molnar now trying to get his way past Randy Crosney. Randy Crosney really struggling in that 74. Something is not right.
Yeah, dirty air effect, and that's one thing you have when you're running in clean air. One type of weight jacket anti-roll bars that we'll be using. As soon as you get into dirty air, you have to work out and figure out how to change that. And let's be honest, this is yellow. The first time that we saw Crosney involved, actually not leading this race, as Andrew Adair Saunders brings out our 2nd yellow of the day. Replay on board of him. Aha! Hello, yellow line. How are you today? And then he gets hit.
Yeah, it just looks as though it's an unfortunate incident between himself and the driver who hit him. That driver is, of course, Jack Turner in the 55 machine. Nowhere that Jack Turner could really go. And for Andrew Adair Saunders, it's just a case of that yellow line. As soon as you hit that, the banking is completely different. You're going to have 4 different levels of bank, or 2 different levels of banking across 4 tyres, and that's not a good idea in an IndyCar.
Yeah, pit road should be open any moment now. It'd be very interesting to see who is going to come on towards pit road. Only from P number 12, Randy Shoemake, coming on towards pit road. So half the field are deciding to come in, half the field are deciding to stay out.
Yeah, it looks as though strategy is playing into the hands of the... Although saying that is all a strategy call, because the drivers who are now pitting in, if we get one more caution, I reckon, throughout the whole of this race, which I wouldn't be surprised if we don't, they will be able to get to the end of one more stop.
Let's have a look as the drivers come out of pit road. Cistello first, then Shoemaker, Pitkingham, Weekly, and Professor Ulia are the drivers that come out of pit road on that rotation. Let's go back to Krosno. Let's talk about weight jackets a little bit here, Jack, because that's one thing that a lot of people who are newer to IndyCar racing don't always understand. They have got that anti-roll bar that they can use to stiffen up the front or the rear of the car. They have got the weight jacket that they can use to loosen or tighten the car as well. Track like this, oh, you're using these in-car tools.
And of course, as the tyres wear down a little bit more, that car of running, or all the cars will be getting slightly looser, and you will need to stiffen them up a little bit just to make sure you can get through the corner at the same amount of speed. Of course, it's not going to be exactly the same because the tyres are going to be worn down. There's not going to be as much grip going through those 4 tyres, but of course, it's still important to make sure that you have enough grip to get through the corner at the speed you need to, and to match the drivers ahead of you. If you get that slightly wrong, and the weight distribution and the aero distribution across the car isn't right, you can cause a massive accident, and that's what we saw for the driver of Davis Costello.
Yeah, having a look then from the new race leader, Henry Bennett. 2 leaders here today, one of them being Randy Krosno, who led the first 30-something laps. Henry Bennett is now the guy in charge. Back in 1 minute.
So, you want to race in NASCAR. The road starts here. Introducing the eNASCAR at Night Series powered by iRacing. This is the gateway for all aspiring 13 to 16-year-olds. Starting June 20th, ignite your dreams of one day racing in the top tiers of NASCAR. Go to www.iracing.com/ignite for full details.
Top 8 as it stands right now. Bennett is leading. Matt Cook, in second place. Randy Krosno down to 3rd. Matt Molnar, Sasha Lamp, Sam Saunders, Johnny Garrett, and Joshua Bard round out your top 8. Drivers out of the event, we have got 2 of them, Adam Shipstone and Joshua Chin. Shipstone has been involved in an incident. Joshua Chin did not start here today, Jack.
I would actually say that neither of them started, because I can't remember Adam Shipstone being down on the grid. Of course, your Victor from last time out at Belle Isle.
38 laps down, so he did.
Oh, that's interesting, because it's showing on my time screen as not having a qualifying lap registered. Or a race lap.
Maybe he just did a quick jog around the track.
Yeah, maybe. You never know, as lights are out on the pace car. We're going back to green this time.
Yep, so here we are then. Pace car is in. We go green once again here at Richmond. Cars will storm themselves down towards turn number 1. Krosno already under pressure for 3rd place. That's Matt Molnar on his outside heading down into that first corner. And Krosno is going to lose 1, maybe even lose more positions here. Krosno down into P number 4.
Krosno is down into P number 4. He has got the inside line for 1 and 2. Sasha Lamp now looking like he wants to make his way up the field. He's going to look to the outside of the exit at 2. Not going to be able to get the move done. Obviously not enough road to be able to get the same amount of power down. Give that car a run into turn number 3. Matt Cook as Randy Krosno gets loose by the looks of it through 3. This now brings the 30 of Sam Sanders into the equation and the 68 of Johnny Garrett. I wonder what's going to happen here. Sasha Lamp, Randy Krosno around the outside. Looks as though Sasha Lamp's got the move done. Henry Bennett, Matt Cook are going to go side by side into 3 and 4 for the race lead. You've got two battles going on at exactly the same time within your top 5.
Yeah, Bennett has the outside line. He's in the orange car. Cook in the blue machine. And they remain side by side. Again, they've been at it now for a lap and a half at least. Bennett outside line. Cook inside line. Cook, though, just cannot close the deal off as they come down in towards turn number 1 and 2 once again. And Cook finally, I think, if he's lucky, he just pushes up the track. Yeah, he's got the pass complete, but he was very respectful there. He could have actually moved up the track a little bit earlier.
Sasha Lamp has also got his way past Randy Krosno. Joshua Baird has got his way past Sam Sanders. Is now going to be going side by side with Randy Krosno through turn number 1 and 2. Sam Sanders now wanting to get involved in this one. This is a good battle for P number 4. P number 5 going on at the moment. Sasha Lamp has broken away and is trying to close that gap between himself and Matt Molnar in 3rd. Matt Molnar now looking to get his way past Henry Bennett for 2nd position. As Matt Cook looking as though he's going away with it as Andrew Aitken comes down onto the lane.
Yep, so issues for Aitken, of course. He was involved in one of the cautions here today. And what, Randy Krosno able to hold off Joshua Bard then as we go back on board with our virtual reality camera. And Bard, all of a sudden, it just looks like he maybe overused his tyres a little bit there.
Maybe he has, and it just looks as though he's making a little bit of mistake. Almost contact with that number 30 machine of Sam Sanders. Johnny Garrett now looking to go down to the inside, trying to get another place up, moving himself to P number 7 potentially. But Joshua Baird using the outside line. No wonder whether he has pushed those tyres a little bit too much. He is pushing that car quite a lot. Sam Sanders now looking to get his way past Randy Crosno. Crosno has had a shocking few laps, Will. He's really struggling with those tyres all of a sudden.
Yeah, and behind you got Rory Collins and Andrew Wood. They've been going at it. But you are right about Randy Crosno. I mean, he is now, get this, 3.8 seconds behind your race leader after a yellow flag. And this is the guy who's leading the race at one point here today. So this has not been a good run. But the thing for Crosno is now, he has got 1.8 to people ahead of him. Crosno really wants to hope that Baird doesn't go down to the inside of him, but he does go to the inside of him. He just wants that clean air as they go 3 wide behind him here at Richmond, and Baird is going to lose out there as they move it to 2 wide, 2 deep, and the winner is Sam Sanders! Oh, my word, yellow.
Yeah, it just looks as though Johnny Garrett went high into the wall for turn number 2 and came back across the track. Sam Sanders also involved in that one in the number 30. That was a really tough move, but great racing by all of those involved. It just looks as though Johnny Garrett didn't have enough grip to make it around the corner.
Yeah, let's get ourselves some replay, shall we? First one on board with Sam Sanders. And you see the outside wall in turn number 2. We talk about it oh so often.
It's actually, I've just noticed something. Sam Sanders, oh no, he did have a front wing. It just decided to disappear on my screen. So that's just my screen being weird. But Sam Sanders, yeah, he's definitely got damage to that car. Johnny Garrett, it's just that outside wall. It bites again.
Yeah, and then, of course, the inside wall is the next thing that most drivers will hit. Now, this time, we do see everyone on pit road. Who's going to win this one? Well, the good thing, Crosno won't shoot. Avici's not had enough here today, and Bennett will win the race up pit road. Mona out in second place, then Cook, Lamp, Bard, and Crosno, but we have some drivers who have stayed out. One driver, Jan Hoffman, has not pitted at all here today. He is leading. Then Carson Bodway, Randy Shoemake, Hans Pitkenham, Yesavia Olia all have pitted, and they are now at the front of the field.
Indeed, so Jan Hoffman actually maybe using a little bit of strategy, trying to run to the end of this stint for as long as he can, but what he now has to take into the factor is the fact that all the drivers behind him have got much fresher tyres. Carson Bromley is starting in second, pitted on our first caution period. Randy Shoemake in third. He's always a very fast driver. He's pitted on the second caution period, but the first driver, of course, who has pitted on this caution period, the third one is down in ninth. That's Henry Bennett. Those guys are going to have the freshest tyres on the field, and it will no doubt have the fastest pace as well.
Yeah, indeed. So lap number 57 or 250 back in 60 seconds. Lights are off on the pace car. Jan Hoffman is your race leader. Carson Bodway second. Randy Shoemake in third place. Now, this restart is going to be interesting, Jack, because guys on new tyres versus guys on old tyres.
Yeah, indeed. So Matt Cook as well has brought himself down onto the lane once again. Something not right with his car. He's making his second stop. He's put it at the start of the caution period. He's done it again. Everyone now moving to that high line to defend where they need to as the pace car brings himself down onto the lane.
Let's give you some Race Spot TV fan immersion as we go back to green. And we're back to yellow. Jonathan Diggs involved. Jack, talk us through it.
Just trying to find out what happened. Looks like it's on the edge of turn number 2. Not sure if there was any other drivers involved. It was the yellow line. Matt Molnar was involved in that one when Johnny Diggs managed to slow down a little bit by that yellow line trying to save his car. Looking as though that driver just had another incident very similar to what Andrew Adair Saunders had. The yellow line strikes again.
Yeah, so Jonathan Diggs then brings out our fourth caution of the day. Yeah, hits the yellow line. He's kind of running on the yellow line. Now, there has been times when people try and use that yellow line to turn the car a little bit, Jack, but not on a restart.
Yeah, I think it's just interesting. You don't really want to ever use the yellow line if you can avoid it, because of course it will bite like we saw. Not many overtaking moves actually happening during that period. It looks as though some drivers have managed to make their way up a couple of places who pitted. In fact, actually, Matt Molnar's managed to get himself past Henry Bennett, but the order's staying very much the same up at the front of your field. Yeah,
let's check in once again with our virtual reality onboard camera. This is Joshua Bard in the number 23 machine. We did see a little bit of this at Belle Isle, but it's great to see it up and running better this time around, shall we say. And, well, it's really interesting with the VR, of course, because every time that Josh moves his head, we see it on the screen. It's very interesting to see what people do under yellow flag conditions, Jack.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see where they're looking as well. If they look down, you don't really want to know what they're looking at. Of course, they could be looking at the phone, for all we know. But it is very interesting to see what drivers do within the car, see where their eyes are, because, of course, as you move your head, it does move on your screen, and you can see it there in the side-by-side, just how much he's probably actually working under green flag conditions. We saw it at Belle Isle. He was working that car a lot to get it around some of those corners.
Yep, so Joshua Bard, thank you very much to him for providing that camera for us. And don't forget also, ladies and gentlemen, the iRacing Esports Network launches tomorrow. That'll be fun.
That will be fun. It means that all of the iRacing broadcasts from 3 broadcast providers will all be in one place. We've got V8 Online, LSR TV, and ourselves at RaceBot TV all joining together to make this what it is going to be, and we're hoping to make it even better. And I'm not sure whether this series will be heading over to that platform.
It will be.
It will be. So the Classic IndyCar series will be one of the first series we see on that platform.
Yeah, it will be. So Jan Hoffman, front of the field, didn't really get the chance there under that yellow, well, under that half a lap or so to see how Hoffman was going to deal on the older tyres. But heat cycles are never a good thing if you're, 64 laps now into a stint.
Yeah, heat cycles is not what you want this far into a race. Of course, these tyres will do the same as the fuel. They probably won't be in a very good state by the time you've emptied the tank at around 105 laps. With these cautions, it's going to be even more. You're looking at around probably 125, 130 laps on a tank of fuel now. I can assure you that the tyres probably will not get to the end of that period.
No, indeed so. So it'll be really interesting to see what will happen with Jan Hoffman, as I say, leading the way now in this event. Got your top 8 along the bottom of your screen. Those lights are off though, Jack, and that means we're going to go back to green flag racing this time by.
They are indeed, so only this lap remaining under yellow, and then we'll be back to full speed racing once again here at Richmond, and it will be great to see Jan Hoffman once again in control of the field. Everyone's going to be defending that high line. The more rubber they can get up there, the better for the drivers who want to make overtaking moves.
Yeah, and we have seen this be a 2-group racetrack so far today. Hand Picknam in 4th place. Keep an eye on him. In fact, keep an eye out on Randy Shoemake as well, joining Aero X Racing this season. Let's see whether that third AeroX driver in the field can do anything on the strategy call. Green flag back in the air. Let's go racing one more time. Shoemake up to second already.
Shoemake has indeed got himself up to second. Good move on the German driver of Carsten Brodby. Brodby looking like he's going to try and make a challenge into 3. Not going to be able to get it done. That's allowed Hans Pitkanen to head himself up the inside into 1. That's what he needed to do. He's going to promote himself up into a podium position now. So Carsten Brodby, in the place of a lap, has lost 2 spaces.
Yeah, of course, and get social verse on social media. See it along the top of your screen. I'm having a look at the drivers who pitted, and just to let you know, Matt Molnar now leads that gaggle of cars. He's got himself ahead of Henry Bennett.
Yeah, he did that on the last restart as we're going side by side between the drivers of Jesse Ulia-Ollier and the number 27 of Andrew Aitken. He is, of course, 6 laps down. So Jesse Ulia-Ollier getting himself past some lap traffic, but of course, seeing Matt Molnar make his way up the field a little bit more, and actually as Henry Bennett looks like he's now lost out to Caleb Weekly. So Weekly making his way up the field as Matt Molnar now looks to get himself past Andrew Aitken.
Yeah, and this is what we mean about lap traffic. It's far harder to overtake lap traffic, I think, here compared to any other track on the Classic IndyCar Series, especially as we got a yellow flag out again, and that is going to be David Costello out of this event.
Yeah, he's already had an issue so far today, looking like he's hit even more. Hans Pitkanen managed to get his way past Jan Hoffman as well at the start of that previous lap. So for David Costello, his race looks like it is pretty much done and dusted for the 4X Racing Machine. I
was going to say, I thought that was Randy Crosney here. It wasn't. But that was a high-speed crash. That was a simple case of stay in your beeping lane.
Yeah, it just looks as though Andrew Wood, I'm not really sure what happened there. Oh, yeah, wow, he moved down. Didn't see that driver of Andrew Wood on the inside. Wood has carried on. He does have heavy damage, though, to the left-hand or right-hand side of that car.
Yeah, as Hoffman stays out, he'll have to hope now that there's more cautions, because 2009 Richmond race only ended up, I think, being 5 drivers on the lead lap because a lot of drivers messed up and didn't come onto pit road when they should have done. And I think that Hoffman in particular and Pitkanen, etc., could end up, I say that, of course, Hoffman has come towards pit road. It's now Shoemake leading the race.
Indeed so, and in fact, if these drivers do have to make a green flag pit stop, they could lose 2, potentially 3 laps.
2.5.
Onto the 2.5. Okay, it's 2.5 laps. It's almost 3. I'm getting there with Richmond. So because it's such a short lap and it's 33 seconds on the pit lane, they're going to lose a lot of time. And if you have a caution come out after that, you're suddenly 2 laps down on the leader. You've got to find that back somehow.
Yeah, and even if everyone else has come on towards pit road, you only gain 1 of them at a time. So that's the reason why. A big track, Texas Motor Speedway, for example, you'll lose a lap, but the reward factor is that you only lose a lap, which means that if everyone else pits, you get to come back onto lead lap. Indianapolis, you might not even lose a lap. We saw that in the iRacing Indy 500, of course, Jack. But, and the same would apply to Pocono, by the way. The difference is here, losing 2 laps, you've got to rely on a little bit of lady luck.
Yeah, lady luck is going to play into this race, I feel, especially when it comes to green flag pit stops. We have seen a number of cautions so far, although we are on lap number 73. So actually, if we can go green for the next 15-20 minutes, we are going to hit the halfway stage of the race, I feel, before the top of the hour.
Which will be an achievement for us in terms of the Classic IndyCar Series. The lights are still on the pace car, however. And will they go off? No, they stay on. So we're going to have 2 more laps at least under the yellow flag period. It's been riding on board with Jan Hoffman then. Let's check in. Andrew Wood is on pit road as we speak. He's bringing that damaged race car in.
Yeah, that's a sensible decision from Mr. Wood. I think that's something he needed to do. Going to use his 1 fast repair available to him in this event. Get himself back out with a full tank of fuel and a new set of tyres. 7.5 second stop for him. Also got a clean race start car. So you do get a spare car for this race, which is always a handy one. And I think that's actually quite a good rule for a series where sometimes it does mean that when drivers make mistakes, you can be the unlucky party in it.
Maybe not always. In the ISOWC, you don't get one, which might be coming back next year. We'll talk about that one maybe after the race. Retirees, David Costello added to the list Everyone else is still on track. So we still got 24 drivers on a lap that's only 15 seconds long in terms, well, 16 seconds, 16 and a half seconds in race pace. The lights are now off on the pace car, but that's why you see drivers bunched up more, because it's such a short racetrack. You don't want to be lapping drivers in the first 10, 15 laps after a restart.
So, looking at my track map at the moment, the leader, which is Randy Shoemaker, is now exiting turn at number 2. And as he did that, the driver of Jos van der Ven was only then crossing the start line. So you can imagine, when these guys head to the restart, as soon as that leader crosses the line, some of the drivers might not have even entered turn 3 at that point.
Yeah, indeed so. But that pace car is going to go back on towards pit road. We are back to green flag racing. And it's Shoemaker who leads the way as they come down towards turn 1. Your top 3 got a fantastic run this time by, though, to get themselves back to green flag running. They have already broken away a second ahead of Carson Bonneray in 4th.
In less than a lap. That is an impressive achievement for those drivers of Shoemaker, Pitkanen and Hoffman. That's also what they need to do. If they can get themselves a little bit more of a gap, it's more of a safety buffer, because looking at it, Randy Shoemaker is now entering turn number 3 and 4. Jos van der Ven is only around, I'd probably say, half a lap ahead of him, probably not even that. So we could see traffic very soon, depending on track or the lap times that the slower drivers are setting. And as soon as the traffic does play into this one, as we see side by side ahead between Matt Cook. Matt Cook is a long way down in the field now. He's a lap down after making that extra pit stop.
Yeah, he is. So actually, Cook is struggling right now, down in P number 20 as a consequence of that second stop. However, a little bit further off the field, Caleb Wheatley versus Matt Monar going at it right now. P number 6 and 7 on track. That's the closest spot we got right now. Caleb Wheatley then, number 12 machine from Illinois. Matt Monar, Canadian driver, in a number 29 machine. I said number 29 for Caleb Wheatley. I meant number 12. It's been a long, long weekend. We've got a yellow.
No.
And that is Joshua Bard then, who's had himself an incident on our turn number 2.
Looking as though 2 drivers are involved in that one. Joshua Baird saying hello to the yellow line on the inside of turn number 2. Sasha Lamp saying hello to the right-hand side of Joshua Baird's car there in that instant. Sasha Lamp has got going again. Does look like he might have some damage. Joshua Baird has also got going as well.
Yep, so having a look then at the replay, we'll have a look for one more now in towards turn number 1. You can see though on the right-hand side of your screen, Bard's car is severely crabbing right now. And there's the incident. I'm surprised that there's side pod damage as well. That's the reason why there's side pod damage, which is making it hard for Bard to really kind of get that car going. So he is on pit road as a consequence of that one right now. And he'll be back out and away on track. But we've got ourselves a caution. We will step aside for a few moments. We'll be back with more after this.
So what are you afraid of? Those feelings are made up. For anyone asking who is the best, we putting our hands up.
4 more kilometers.
Oh, there we go! They cut!
This time, like the last time, I'm moving so fast, I'm ready to ride.
Frankie! Down to the inside of Hoosie's off!
Passenger throws the block, and he will keep him behind him.
My time. None of you people can tell me to stop. Lower the lights down. Hand over my crown. Hand over my heart. I do this for my town. I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time. None of you people can tell me to stop. Turning the track up. I'll never go back down. Hand over my heart. I do this for my town. I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time. None of you people can tell me to stop.
So, you want to race in NASCAR. The road starts here. Introducing the eNASCAR Ignite Series powered by iRacing. This is the gateway for all aspiring 13 to 16-year-olds. Starting June 20th, ignite your dreams of one day racing in the top tiers of NASCAR. Go to www.iracing.com/ignite for full details.
Not only have we got ourselves the iRacing Esports Network coming soon, the fantastic series, the Ignite series then, by NASCAR. Really looking forward to that one. Showing that they can be a way, Jack, in terms of moving your way through the racing ladder through esports.
Indeed so. We saw it a number of years ago with Michael Conti in the NASCAR Peak Anti-Free Series. He was, I can't remember how old he was when he won the series. I knew he was quite young. And to see, I know he's trying to get into motorsports actively, but to see that series run by NASCAR, it's great to see that they're giving the drivers that opportunity, and for drivers who are so young as well, finding that young talent through sim racing, as Rory Collins looks like he's going to bring himself down onto pit lane this time. Of course, there have been other series which have had similar things, or other manufacturers. GT Academy on my Nissan was the first one that really stood out for me. A lot of great winners coming from that series in the form of drivers like Lucas Ordonez and, of course, Britain's very own Jan Mardenborough.
Yeah, and of course, we've also had McLaren's world's fastest gamer. Would be amazing to see that one back for 2018. Hopefully, there'll be something about that one soon if there is. Because, of course, that one took place in autumn of last year. Of course, world's fastest game is on iRacing, so I get to talk about that one a lot. GT Academy, Gran Turismo, things are kids. Shoemake, green flag, let's go racing again. Good start, restart there by Hoffman. I tell you what, he's done 86 laps in this set of tyres, but that was a great restart by him.
That was a great restart indeed, and Jan Hoffman showing that even though he's on old tyres that's been through 4 or 5 heat cycles, they aren't giving way just yet. Watch out for him come the end of the race, because his strategy may have just paid off. He might be able to do it on a very short stop to get himself to the end, where everyone's going to have to take a lot of fuel, whereas for Jan Hoffman, he might only need 10-15 laps.
Yeah, indeed. So we're on board right now with Robert Grosser in the #1 Machine Series champion from last year. In that Logical car, of course, Logical, the title sponsor of the classic IndyCar series. So shout out to them as Robert Grosser putting pressure onto Randy Krosno in towards turn #1. Grosser has the inside line but cannot make the move just yet. Krosno using the slipstream on the outside.
Indeed so, and it just looks as though Matt Cook now moving to the outside through 3 and 4, looking to get himself up a couple of positions. Robert Grosser has now been left on the inside line. Got to watch out for that yellow line, getting very close to it, but no accident does avail. He managed to keep his #1 car nice and clean. Of course, he is the 3-time champion in the classic IndyCar series. No one has ever been able to defeat him, although this year I've got good money on someone being able to, and that person being Henry Bennett.
I'll tell you, yeah, you'd almost have to be betting on the fact that, you know, Portugal, Spain and Argentina would all make it. Oh, wait a minute. Those football fans actually care about that one. Jack Turner, though, that's something I do care about. Jack Turner, Sasha Lamp going at it. That is a P14 on track. Worth remembering, of course, we talked about P14, but these drivers have made pit stops in the case of both drivers here today.
Yeah, Jack, obviously Sasha Lamp down a long way because he has had an incident on those last few laps. As looks as though Caleb Weekly and Henry Bennett are going to be going at it. Henry Bennett getting himself through nice and cleanly on that #12 machine of Caleb Weekly. So Henry Bennett moving himself up to second. He started, or seventh, sorry, he started second in this race. He's lost 5 positions so far, but of course that is down to strategy. He is on the newest tyres in the field by the looks of it. The oldest is still Jan Hoffman. They are still around, or still extremely old, at 94 laps.
Yeah, so Randy Krosno, Robert Grosser going at it again, this time by Grosser. Does have it, and he should almost be clear. Yeah, he is there towards turn #3.
As Caleb Weekly looks like, has he lost out? I think he might have lost out to another driver. No, he hasn't. That's Matt Cook moving himself back up through the field, trying to make some time back up. He is, of course, 1 lap down. Another caution. He can make it back onto the lead lap, so it's not all over for Matt Cook just yet. A long way to go yet. 154 laps still remaining in this motor race.
Yep, so then here we are having a look a little bit further ahead. Matt Molnar, Carson Bodaway, they are going at it for 4th place on track right now. Molnar is a driver I do want to circle as being a potential race winner here. He's been quiet throughout the majority of the race, just moving himself in and around the field, but he's a driver who can really ramp it up. He does get very close, though, to the wall on the exit turn #2, but risk-reward factor, he's alongside Carson Bodaway now.
And of course, it's not just going to be the race winner taking home a prize today of championship points, full championship points. We're also going to choose our driver of the day at RaceBot TV. He will win himself a Pro Key to Joel Real Timing, another one of the sponsors of the Classic IndyCar Series, and an app which every iRacing driver should look to invest into. And it's one that, for me, I couldn't live without. And Joel Real Timing, of course, is one of the sponsors. And on the road, the person with the least incident points will win as Matt Molnar heads down to the inside of Carson Brodvey. But on ovals, it's of course RaceBot TV's driver of the day.
Yeah, as you can see, almost, well, they were three wide for a moment. Molnar Bodaway down towards turn number 1 and 2. Molnar does look as though he has the advantage then as they work themselves into 3. And Molnar does have the advantage. And we got a yellow. So perfect there for Molnar, as we have got a yellow out on track. And that driver is Johnny Garrett and Andrew Adair Saunders involved by the look of it. Let's get ourselves another look. Hello, the yellow line. As, yep, that was Johnny Garrett and Andrew Adair Saunders. Andrew Adair Saunders had nothing really he could do to avoid that.
No, Andrew Adair Saunders was definitely the innocent party in that one. And Johnny Garrett, the yellow line strikes again. And can someone clip what Will just said and put it on a soundboard, please? Because that would be brilliant.
Only if I get royalties.
Well, you heard it first here, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, so let's have a look. Pace car. And here's Shoemake then. And this is going to try and dummy people, bringing people on towards pit road. But you do expect everyone to be in this time by as we get closer to halfway.
And Jan Hoffman is one of the drivers down onto the lane. Matt Molnar is going to cycle himself up into the race lead by the look of things. He is on 48 lap old tyres. But Jan Hoffman, his tyres now 103 laps old. I think they're time to be retired and put away for the rest of their life. A new pair of boots, a new pair of rubber on that car. And of course, Jan Hoffman does have to remember to change those in-car controls back to what he had them set to at the start of this race, or very similar, because otherwise, with those newer tyres, it could mean disaster.
Yeah, as we have ourselves on pit road. Shoemake is going to be the first to come out. Then picking on Broadway, Hoffman. Krosno. Oh, sorry, Visser, Ayula Olia first, then Krosno. So, in terms of the battle out of pit road, Shoemake wins that one, but he is down to P number 12 right now.
Yeah, he has dropped a long way down the field, and for Randy Shoemake, that could be quite dangerous. He did, of course, start 17th, so he is up from where he started. Biggest mover and shake in your field, though, is actually a driver who had a bit of bit of trouble at the start of this race. Is Andrew Wood. He's currently running, by the looks of things, in 6th position. He's up 20 places on where he started. Jonathan Diggs now going to bring himself down onto the lane for stop number 4 of his race.
Yeah, indeed so. So we'll keep an eye out on that one. As, well, we're in a calm period. We have got Lucas Avil to talk to. We have kept him waiting for 105 laps, Jack, but he stood by with you now.
He is indeed, and Lucas, obviously not being able to take part today, you're in more of an overseeing role. How do you think the race is going so far?
That good.
Silence, that's what we like to see.
I'll tell you what, we'll take a quick moment here, ladies and gentlemen, on RaceBot TV. Back in a moment.
So, you want to race in NASCAR. The road starts here. Introducing the eNASCAR Ignite Series powered by iRacing. This is the gateway for all aspiring 13 to 16-year-olds. Starting June 20th, ignite your dreams of one day racing in the top tiers of NASCAR. Go to www.iracing.com/ignite for full details.
So what are you afraid of? Those feelings are made up. For anyone asking who is the best, we putting our hands up.
4 more kilometers.
Oh, there we go! This time, like the last time, I'm moving so fast, I'm ready to ride.
Frankie! Down to the inside of Hoosie's off!
Passenger throws the block, and he will keep him behind him.
My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. Lower the lights down, hand over my crown, hand over my heart. I do this for my town, I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. Turning the track up, I'll never go back down.
Let's get back to racing here at Richmond. Green flag back in the air. What a restart by Matt Molnar, 1.2 ahead, but that, of course, was aided by the fact there were 2 cars a lap down in between them there, Jack.
Yeah, it looks as though Matt Molnar has picked out a bit of a joker there on that restart. Got a bit of luck with some lap cars, one being Matt Cook, the other being Joshua Baird. Those guys are actually fighting for position. Position number 18 as Matt Cook down to the inside. Very close between those 2 drivers. Henry Bennett is going to have to make his way through these drivers as Hans Pickenen gets his way past Carson Brovey. Those guys are having a scrap for P number 12. As in fact, we are seeing a nice big trainer car. Sasha Lamp getting himself past Sam Sanders for P number 5. Sam Sanders actually having a good first run of the season. Looking like he's suiting that car very well. Although I was saying that, he's just been swamped by the number 32 of Andrew Wood.
Yeah, we're having a look at that battle between Matt Cook and Joshua Baird. And, well, this one does help out now Henry Bennett a little bit. Worth noting that Bennett hasn't actually lost any time over the last couple of laps or so, despite the fact that was happening on track. Sasha Lamb, Caleb Weekly, that was going on for P number 4 on track right now. Let's check in with that one.
Sasha Lamp is a very capable driver. He's shown that so far today. This circuit is very much suiting him by the looks of it. He is under pressure from Andrew Wood behind, though. Sam Sanders dropped off the back of this one. Sasha Lamp down to the inside into turn number 1 of Caleb Weekly. Weekly going to have to just concede the position by the looks of things. Andrew Wood also contact with the outside wall for Weekly, and Andrew Wood getting a free pass almost down to the inside.
Yep, so it's now Sasha Lamp versus Andrew Wood for position as they head themselves past the start-finish line again. Almost at halfway distance. And, well, I'll tell you one thing, we might just get there before the top of the hour. If we don't have another yellow, it'll be very, very close. Jack Turner is going to lose position there to Hans Pickenen.
Yeah, and looks as though battle for second position, Robert Grosser and Henry Bennett. Although saying that, Robert Grosser has got to get his way past the driver of Joshua Baird first. Matt Molnar has got a friend in front of him. That's Matt Cook, and for Matt Molnar, that's quite good actually, because it means that he can just sit in that little bit of dirty air a little bit further behind Matt and save a little bit of fuel in the draft. Yeah,
and fuel saving here is something that a lot of people don't talk about that often, but it can be really useful. Even 2 to 3 laps short. It's not necessarily about putting the... Well, it's about 2 things, really. It's about giving yourself the most options available, Jack, but then it's also about just, if you do end up with a safety car period, that extra 2-3 tenths per second, that's a place.
That is a place on the race of pit road. We've got a yellow out on track as Caleb Weekly had a shocking couple of laps. As Randy Crosno, the one which Will said was good to watch for the race win. Well, maybe not so much now.
And SunTrust getting more advertising time. Here's one more look. Yellow line. I don't think it's yellow line this time, but I think it's just pushing an oversteer. Pushing an oversteer.
Yeah, by the looks of it, it was. Randy Crosno did get very close to that yellow line on the inside of turn number 2. But yes, he's having a bit of contact with that SunTrust. It's once again SunTrust getting airtime here on RaceSpot TV. But Randy Crosno, heavy damage to that car. And I think looking like that might be day over for him.
what are you afraid of? Those feelings are made up. For anyone asking who is the best, we putting our hands up.
4 more kilometers. A big
there we go! They touch!
This time, like the last time, I'm moving so fast, I'm ready to ride.
Frankie! Down to the inside of Hoosie's off!
passenger throws the block, and he will keep him behind him.
My time. None of you people can tell me to stop. Lower the lights down. Hand over my crown. Hand over my heart. I do this for my town. I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time. None of you people can tell me to stop. Turning the track up. I'll never go back down. Hand over my heart. I do this for my town. I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time. None of you people can tell me to stop.
If at first you don't succeed, try again. And that's exactly what we did with Lucas DeVille. He has stood by here on Racebot TV, now with Jack Styles.
Well, we'll try again. Lucas obviously not being able to race today due to a few health issues by my understanding, and you're more of an observing role today. Just take us through what you've seen so far in the first almost half of this motor race.
Hi everybody. Yeah, pretty much pattern that we see a lot in CIS. Difficult car to race on the short track like this, and the cold temps don't help the guys with the tires. We see a lot of sail spins out of turn 2 is a clear pattern at this track anyway within the car, so nothing too unexpected. But we can see as well some great close racing, some guys that we expected at the front being there, like Randy Shoemake, Matt Cook, who has to come back, Randy Krosno, who just made a mistake and spun out, unfortunately. But yeah, hopefully we have a good second half of this race.
Of course, we have got a summer break coming up, as it looks as though we're going to go back to green. We'll continue this one in a minute.
Yeah, here we are, green flag back in the air one more time. In towards 1, then it comes. Storm. I'll tell you one thing, Jack. Pretty lax restart there.
Yeah, very relaxed restart from all the drivers. Everyone, I think, just looking as though they want to get back to green flag racing. We have passed the top of the hour now. Next time by will be the halfway stage in this race. Lap 125. Matt Molnar's now coming on to for your race lead. So we have now reached the halfway stage. We could make it to the end if we go at this current pace and actually complete 250 laps, complete the full distance. Of course, I can see that being achieved very, very easily because, well, it's Richmond, and hopefully if we get a nice long greens period, we will do, and everyone's just getting nice and clean off the right restart.
On board with Andrew Wood versus Sasha Lamp here. Right now, battle for 4th place on track. I want to ask Lucas DeVille a question here. As we go back to yellow, Hans Pitcairn is involved in that one. So Hans Pitcairn there, turned around, exit turn number 2. Replay coming up for you now. Doesn't hit anything, actually, Jack.
No, actually, for an instant we've seen at turn 2, it's pretty clean. He did have, it looks as though a little bit of oversteer, lost the rear end again. Very similar incident to what we saw with Johnny Garrett, just didn't have an incident with the inside wall. Yeah,
there's a replay of Pitcairn. Tell you what, he went about half the track backwards as well. So nice coasting here, back, and then spins the tyres around, kicks a bit of dust up, and goes back in the right direction. So Mona, Bennett, and Grosser have done 72 laps on this set of tyres, Jack. Do you risk it and try and stay out until the next pit stop? Until the next caution, even?
Yeah, I think that's the strategy they're going with at the moment. They want that track position over strategy. We do have 120 laps left, and if we do see a couple more cautions from here, I would say that's possible on 1 tank of fuel.
Yeah, and I was going to ask Lucas DeVille this question before the yellow came out. Lucas, we're in a situation where people are having to basically deal with 3 different strategies on track right now, and as a consequence of that, it can get confusing, and you are having to run amongst people who you normally wouldn't do. How hard is it to run in a type of race like this?
This is exactly what we see with Randy Shoemake, for example, as you mentioned, the guy that's on a completely different strategy from the leaders at the moment, who's decided to make 2 stops and take tires when others don't. And this is what is going to make the difference at the end of the race. Who's going to have the fresher tires? Because as you say, in 20 laps, you can make it to the end if it goes green. The fuel tank capability on the green is around 100, 105 laps now. So you can make it from lap 250. And with the cautions we have, I would say we can even make it from now or from like, I'd say like 130, 135. If we have like a couple of cautions and you do a good fuel saving on the green. So it's going to be complicated, and fresh tires are really powerful with this car. So the guys who pit last and is like in the top 5 is going to be in very good position to win this race.
I tell you, I tell you what, 1 second, Jack. Apologies there. My voice didn't want to work as we came back on that one. But I remember Tim Doyle once in an RFJ race took tyres 15 laps to go here at Richmond, and thought, what are you doing? He wins the race. Actually no, that's a lie, he comes second because I won the race. He almost won the race.
He just never beat the mighty Will Vincent. But of course we saw
Have
it
you
in the
ever
real
seen
world.
me drive an IndyCar? I'm useless.
No, I was that was before I was even on iRacing when you were racing. That was what, 2 or 4 or 5 years ago, I think.
I stopped driving in 2013.
Yeah, so it was around 4 or 5 years ago that Will stopped driving, and of course, actually, when you look at that in the real world, we saw it at Phoenix this year. Joseph Newgarden, if I remember correctly, took tyres on the final caution with around, I think it was only about 10-15 laps to go. It was a very similar situation, and Robert Wickens was doing a sterling job up at the front of the field, and Joseph Newgarden just breezed by on new tyres, and it's that difference that it can make. Of course, there are only 3 drivers out on the track at the moment who have made 1 stop. They are Matt Molnar, Henry Bennett and Robert Grosser. Everyone behind has made at least 2 stops. Lights are off on the iRacing pace car. We will be going back to green flag racing this time by the field once again under the control of the number 29 of Matt Molnar.
Yeah, and just to let you know as well, if you are going to be in Germany for Sim Racing Expo, so are we. We'll talk about that one in a moment's time, because here comes Molnar to pick up the pace. Green flag in the air one more time. How's turn number 2 going to behave this time? Everyone is looking good.
Everyone is indeed looking good. Everyone nice and cleanly through the first lap. We are past halfway now. 118 laps remaining in this motor race of 250. And of course that will breeze by if we now go from green to here, Will. But at the moment, Matt Molnar, nice comfortable lead of 0.7 of a second over your championship leader of Henry Bennett.
Yeah, indeed so. So having a look right now at the battle going on between Randy Shoemake and Andrew Wood. Shoemake being very smart here, Jack, taking them 1 at a time. He's now up into 5th.
Yeah, he just wants to do them 1 at a time. You don't want to be doing 2 or 3 at a time, especially at such a tight track. There are markings out for 3 lanes here at Richmond, but you don't really want to do it because the drivers on the middle and the inside do need to track up on the exit of the corner. And if you have a car on the outside, as Jan Hoffman gets himself past Caleb Weekly, and of course if you have a car on the outside, that it might spell disaster. As Randy Shoemake now down to the inside into turn number 1 and 2 is Sasha Lamp. Nice and easy move for him. Lamp, nothing to answer. Although he does as he gets a better drive off the corner. And yeah, I spoke too soon.
Yeah, Jan Hoffman, Caleb Weekly. Look at that. 2 wide, 3 deep in your mid-pack right now.
Yeah, mid-pack racing once again showing off some great racing here as we see almost 3 wide into turn number 1. Jonathan Diggs and Jack Turner as well. Some of the drivers going at it. Looks as though Matt Cook going to try and get himself past Caleb Weekly now that Matt Cook is, of course, back onto the lead lap. Caleb Weekly getting an awful run through turn number 3, running himself very high. That's going to let both Jan Hoffman and Matt Cook down on the inside. Next target for Matt Cook is that driver of Sam Sanders. He is down 6 on where he started. The middle section of this race, well, for him, he hasn't actually been able to regain much time or regain much pace after that incident that he was involved in.
No, but for Matt Cook, I was thinking about him just a moment ago as we got Wheatley and Turner going at it for 13th place. Cook is doing a similar thing to Shoemake, 1 at a time, and I think if he can get past, he's going to try and do that over Sam Sanders now. He has 2.8 seconds and clean air. This is perfect now for Matt Cook.
Another driver off the list for Randy Shoemake. He's got himself past Robert Grosser now for position number 3 on track. Andrew Wood going to do a very similar thing. The 3-time champion not having a good day here. Andrew Wood very close to the yellow line, almost lost it. Nice save there from Mr. Wood.
Yeah, on board. His replay then was Shoemake getting past Grosser. Down to the inside in turn number 1. Makes that one nice and simple and easy. And move the Race for Christ Aero X racing car up into 3rd place right now. So, great run. In fact, this is the best we've seen Shoemake in a very, very long time.
It is, and it's great to see him pull off a good performance. I think he's needed one so far this year. This is obviously one of the only series they run this IndyCar. It's almost defunct now on iRacing. The GW12 is the same thing as well. Most series have already switched over to the IR18. That newer spec car that we see came in for this year. A beautiful car it is as well. But for the IR05, those classic shape that we see here in the Classic IndyCar Series, Sasha Lamp, Andrew Wood going to come together off of turn number 2. Looks as though Sasha Lamp might have had an incident with the yellow line.
Yeah, we saw it live. Let's have another look. Nope, just getting loose. Overusing the weight jacker there, Jack.
Yeah, that's not what he needed to do, and for that weight jacker, it is very interesting. That weight distribution is very important as the banking all levels out. Of course, the banking on the straight is not the same as the corner. I believe it is still banked on the straights at Richmond,
yes,
but definitely is not as banked as the corners.
Well, on board of Matt Molnar, I expect the entire field on pit road now. The entire field. But Molnar doesn't come in yet. I presume the pit road isn't open. No, it is open. Molnar is staying out. Everyone else is going to basically come in apart from Randy Shoemake here. This is disastrous for Molnar.
That's 90 lap old tyres for Molnar, and I think that's the wrong decision because now he's left in the clutches with Randy Shoemake, although for Randy, he's got to get himself around Joshua Baird, who is still laps down because he cannot get himself past that leader.
Yeah, on board of Bennett. And the race off pit road. Bennett is going to win. Then it's
and look who's back up front now.
Pardon?
Look who's back up front now.
He is,
Matt
yeah.
Cook P3.
Well, having a look right now, it looks as though that Bennett wins that race off pit road. Grosser then behind him. As we've got the speedometer on there for Henry Bennett, showing you the speed that you can do on pit road. 45 miles an hour. Matt Molnar, 91 laps on this stint of tyres. Randy Shoemake, 43 laps. Matt Cook, 26 laps, Jack.
Matt Cook has made 4 pit stops, though, in this race. It's not the most we've seen. Jack Turner's up to 7 pit stops, 7 trips down onto the lane. That's quite a lot for this length of race. Sasha Lamp now exiting the pit. Where is he going to cycle out in this field? I have a feeling it's going to be behind that driver of Matt Cook. Not too sure. He, of course, is going to be laps down now. So Sasha Lamp got some work to do in the closing stages of this race. We are approaching the 100 lap to go mark here at Richmond.
Yeah, we are indeed. We're going to step aside. Back in one moment.
So, you want to race in NASCAR. The road starts here. Introducing the eNASCAR at Night Series powered by iRacing. This is the gateway for all aspiring 13 to 16-year-olds. Starting June 20th, ignite your dreams of one-day racing in the top tiers of NASCAR. Go to www.iracing.com/ignite for full details.
So what are you afraid of? Those feelings are made up. For anyone asking who is the best, we putting our hands up.
4 more kilometers.
Oh, there we go! They cut!
This time, like the last time, I'm moving so fast, I'm ready to ride.
Frankie! Down to the inside, and who's this off?
Passenger throws the block, and he will keep him behind him.
My time. None of you people can tell me to stop. Lower the lights down. Hand over my crown. Hand over my heart. I do this for my town. I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time. None of you people can tell me to stop. Turning the track up. I'll never go back down. Hand over my heart. I do this for my town. I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time. None of you people can tell me to stop.
When the lights go green, there will be 101 laps to go here at Richmond Raceway. Pace car on towards pit road. We are green once again. I'll tell you one thing here. The starts are fine, Jack. It just seems to be that turn 2 is really catching people out.
Yeah, almost caught out Matt Cook and Niall McBride. Of course, the traffic now playing into these restarts. Niall McBride very high off of turn number 4. He almost collected the wall 3 times on that lap, I think I counted.
Yeah, and because he's so slow right now, of course, these Indy cars, downforce cars, you have to have speed in them for them to actually work properly. McBride struggling there on the outside line.
Yeah, you don't want to get stuck on the outside line for very long here at Richmond because you can get caught out from McBride. He's 5 laps down, so any chances of good position for him are all but over. Fastest lap of the race is going to be set by Matt Cook in 3rd position. He's done a 16.170, not quite onto the quali pace that we saw of a 15.9 for your pole sitter of Randy Crosno, currently running down in position number 19 as Matt Cook looks to get himself past Joshua Baird, who is laps down. But with that, he's got an opportunity to get past Randy Shoemake. They're going to go side by side, crossing the line, starting lap 154. Matt Cook going to get the move done and down into turn number 1.
What broken arm is what Cook is going to say right now. Driving with a broken arm, and he is back up into P number 2. And I would argue he's in the best position of anyone inside your top 5 in terms of fuel and tyres.
Yeah, he is in a very good position. Matt Molnar, though, at the moment, may have to make himself a green flag pit stop. Maybe not. We've got a car in the wall. That's John Elmsweimer. Caution is out on the circuit, and that happened off of turn number 2. Has the yellow line strike again? I don't think it has. It's more just oversteer and the weight jacker being wrong.
Yep. Yeah, you can see dirty air. He lost the dirty air on the exit of the corner, slammed it into the wall. Elmsweimer is out of this event. Well, okay, now, if you are that driver of Matt Molnar, you have to pit, surely. He's done 100 laps now on this stint, and yeah, he is coming in.
That's a sensible decision from Matt Molnar. He's just avoided the green flag pit stop, then losing 2.5 laps, going to bring himself down onto the lane. Good run up at the front of your field. Some very good clean restarts, and Matt Cook will now cycle his way up into the lead, and his tyres are considerably younger compared to Matt Molnar's.
Yeah, they're not as young as Henry Bennett, Robert Grosser, Andrew Wood, Carson Rodaway, et al. However, this is the 11th caution of the day right now. So this does mean that Cook hasn't done too much in terms of competitive racing. It does become hard sometimes to know kind of where your tyre life is. And it does make those in-car adjustments even harder to deal with, Jack.
Yeah, and I think for those drivers, as they get towards the end of the stints, and also they need to remember what the in-car adjustments were at the start of the stint, I would expect to have all these drivers seeing them having them written somewhere down so they know where to set their car up, know how to get it ready to go back to green flag racing after they made a pit stop. And of course, seeing this strategy throughout the field now, all of these drivers can get to the end from here on this tank of fuel, apart from, I believe, Randy Shoemake.
Shoemake is close. He might just be able to do so, of course, with the number of cautions we've had so far today. Second place in line is the driver of Joshua Bard, who is scored a lap down. Really was hoping that Cook was going to come on towards pit road. Of course, that would never happen. As you take another look inside of our virtual headset, we are on board right-hand side of your screen with Joshua Bard. And again, we have to say, he's done a nice little job there providing that feed for us.
Yeah, it's great to see. We've seen it before in the form of Jamie Wilson and Team Chimera in the Sports Car Open, and that was where it was first debuted. We have seen it with a couple of drivers, and obviously Joshua Baird offering his services for the Classic IndyCar Series. And actually, it would be interesting to see it at full speed, running up at the front with Matt Cook, because it will probably show how much work he's putting into that car.
Yeah, indeed so. It won't be the final race streamed on this channel. It'll be one of the most final races streamed on this channel, though. I want to give a shout out, of course, to a couple of people who has helped make the iRacing Esports Network ready to go. To Drew Adamson, to Doug Hunt, also to our friends over at V8 Online and LSR TV. Those of you wondering, yes, there are going to be more broadcasters coming over to the iRacing Esports Network. I've kind of taken a bit of a role, which I always say, oh, I've not got time to do anything else, and all of a sudden I'm helping get the iRacing Esports Network off the ground and writing very boring standards documents, Jack.
And I have a feeling that tomorrow morning will be the first broadcast on that channel. V8s Online will be bringing you the V8 supercars. What they specialise in, I would like to think, is a light's going to go out on the top of the pace car. They are. We're going to go green flag racing this time by. So a lot of good series coming over. Classic IndyCar Series is going to be one of them. And of course, it is great to see. Actually, having it all in one place, I think, is going to be good for the viewers at home. They can just go and find the broadcast they want to find, go and find that series they want to watch, and they can just watch it to their heart's content.
We would still like you, however, to subscribe to us on YouTube. All of our broadcasts will still be on there for your viewing pleasure whenever you want to like us on YouTube. Thank you very much. It means we can do more stuff over the course of time. And of course, yes, Sim Racing Expo will be on the Racesport TV channel as well as the iRacing Esports Network. Let's go back to Green Flag Racing. Double picture then on board with Joshua Bard and Virtual Reality. As you see behind, they are too wide there as Shoemake is going to be losing a position to Sam Sanders.
Yeah, Sam Sanders has managed to make his way back up the order. He's managed to go from about 10th to 3rd. I think Shoemake very quick off of turn number 4. Sanders hasn't got anything to answer. That 05 machine of Jan Hoffman. In fact, actually, Hoffman's had a really good strategy call there, staying out for as long as possible. Now going to get held up by Sam Sanders. Car off to the inside. That's Joshua Baird. And that just looks like turn 2 stroke. And again, a little bit too much oversteer. I think there was also contact with the outside wall.
Yeah, but for Josh, he does keep the race green for the time being, and he has brought that car on towards pit road. Let's get ourselves a second look at that one. So it was actually coming on to turn number 2. Oh, hello outside wall. Tell you what, did a good job of not spinning that car back across the track.
He did a very good job at keeping this race green, and for Joshua Baird, that was an incredible piece of driving. And he's one of those things, he has been up there with Matt Cook all race long. He's now going to lose a lot of time. He was already 1 lap down. He's going to go down to 3 laps down now as Jan Hoffman gets his way past Henry Bennett. Those two are going to be side by side in turn number 3 this time. Henry Bennett clearly wants that position back. He might be championship leader by 130 points, but he wants to extend that championship advantage as much as he can. He's got past Hoffman now on turn number 4. Nice and easy move. Next target for him is Sam Sanders in 4th.
Yeah, Bennett back up to P number 5 right now. The gap to Sam Sanders is only, well, nothing. He's actually passed Sam Sanders, as you'll see. We'll just cycle that camera around as they come down in towards turn number 1. Bennett then, 2 drivers in the space of 3 laps.
Yeah, that's what he needed to do. He's got himself up into 3rd position now. Hans Pitkanen is going to be the next driver for him to target. Henry Bennett can get to the end of the race. And actually, this is the fresher tyres now coming into play, which we were talking about, Will. He's got far fresher tyres than both Sam Sanders, Hans Pitkanen, Randy Shoemake and Matt Cook. So he has some of the freshest tyres out on circuit at the moment, meaning he has more grip and can run a much higher pace. Although saying that, Matt Cook on 48-lap-old tyres is still going quicker than Henry Bennett.
Let's ride a couple of laps actually on board of Henry Bennett. Give you a little bit of Racesport TV fan immersion. Matt Cook continues to lead this race by 2.7 seconds now over Randy Shoemake. Hans Pitkanen in 3rd. However, Pitkanen is being hunted down by the driver of Henry Bennett. Running out your top 5 is Andrew Wood. We have had some retirees today. John Elmersheimer, Andrew Adair Saunders, Johnny Garrett, Andrew Aitken, Dave Costello, Joshua Chin are all out of this one. And the winner from last time out, Adam Shipstone, did not start this event here today. Kind of Wheatley involved in the battle. He's been in battles all day long, Jack.
He likes having a bit of a battle with people. This time it's with Matt Molnar. Looks like he's actually lost the position to Matt Molnar then. Now under pressure from the driver of Sasha Lamp, who is of course a lap down after having to make a late caution pit stop. Hans Pitkin and Henry Bennett, that battle for position number 3 still going on. Henry Bennett wanting to make up positions. He is running faster. Actually, to be fair, last time around they both matched each other on lap times, but the lap before Henry Bennett was a full 3/10 faster.
Yeah, one driver we haven't really talked much about is Rory Collins in the number 5 car. He's in 11th place right now. He's got Vesely Ollier in front of him, as Bennett has got himself past Hans Pitkin, as we expected. But keep it with Collins for the moment. He's battling out with Vesely Ollier, and he's a driver as well who seems to be in battles pretty much all day long.
Yeah, this mid-pack is really strong at the moment. The battles are up all the way through it. I'm seeing a pack of cars actually running from 3rd down to 11th, and then another 3 cars from 12th to 14th. But the gap between 11th and 12th is only around 2 seconds, and Matt Molnar is in 12th. So expect him to close the gap to Rory Collins in 11th pretty quickly. But Rory Collins now putting the pressure on Vesely Ollier, who in turn is putting the pressure on Carsten Brodby in the number 35. Robert Grosser a little bit further ahead of him. There is a slight gap in that pack. He is currently putting pressure on Jan Hoffman for P number 7.
Right, random track fact. If this race was to stay green, we'd actually get it done in 19 minutes and 25 seconds from now.
It won't stay green. We've got a car around.
We're talking about the curse of the commentators. Yeah, that is... I'm not going to say that ever again.
Yeah, I think that's probably a sensible one. Jan Hoffman, once again, turn 2 strikes again. It wasn't the yellow line this time, though. It was oversteer.
Yep, so on board of Hoffman, this is him heading towards that incident. Pitch is wide, oversteer. SunTrust doesn't get a whack, but we'll be back in a moment.
So what are you afraid of? Those feelings are made up. For anyone asking who is the best, we putting our hands up.
4 more kilometers. A big
there we go!
This time, like the last time, I'm moving so fast, I'm ready to ride.
Frankie! Down to the inside, and who's this off?
passenger throws the block, and he will keep him behind him.
My time. None of you people can tell me to stop. Lower the lights down. Hand over my crown. Hand over my heart. I do this for my town. I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time. None of you people can tell me to stop. Turning the track up. I'll never go back down. Hand over my heart. I do this for my town. I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time. None of you people can tell me to stop.
So, you want to race in NASCAR. The road starts here. Introducing the eNASCAR at Night Series powered by iRacing. This is the gateway for all aspiring 13 to 16-year-olds. Starting June 20th, ignite your dreams of one day racing in the top tiers of NASCAR. Go to www.iracing.com/ignite for full details.
didn't think there's going to be any pit stops this time around, but there was. Henry Bennett is your new race leader. Matt Cook, who was leading, down to P number 8, Jack.
Yeah, Matt Cook shocked us, or shocked myself and Will. He's brought himself down onto the lane. He's dropped down to P8, as you said. Do not count him out, though. He is from fresh tyres. Randy Shoemaker as well, taking the same strategy call. Same with Hans Pitkanen. Same with Sam Sanders. Same with Jack Turner. So a lot of drivers actually taking that call to come down onto the lane, get some new tyres for this final dash to the finish. 65 laps remaining once we go back to green.
Yeah, so your top 8 as it stands along the bottom of your screen. We are getting ready to go back to green flag racing, and we will do it with some Racebot TV fan immersion. Oh, we got trouble on track. And we're back to yellow. Dasher Lamp. Dasher Lamp involved there, Jack.
Yeah, it just looks as though oversteer through turn number 2. Lost it on the exit, which was unlucky. It looks as though it was coming over the banking that Sasha lost that number 42 Torque Fruit Racing machine. And, well, SunTrust, once again, having more contact with cars.
Yep. Well, actually, he just missed the SunTrust banner. For those of you being pedantic there. It's right next to the Crown Royal banner, which I think you might need after a crash like that.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. That was a heavy hit to the concrete wall for Sasha Lamp. Of course, we do have safer barriers around the outside here at Richmond. A little bit on the spare side on the inside of the course, though. So if you do hit that wall, you are going to hit it hard.
So, back to yellow. Number 13 here today, Jack. 61 laps to go. Under green, it will take 16 minutes to finish this event. And that's how quick the laps are, by the way. However, in terms of time, we have got ourselves right now 33 minutes remaining.
Yeah, so of course still around half an hour left to go in this event. By the time we go back to green flag racing, it'll probably be around 26 minutes left for these drivers to complete this race. So I'd say with one more caution, we could still make it to the end on laps. If we have 2 more cautions, we're going to be pushing it to get it 250 laps complete. I predict we'd probably finish about 247, 248.
The Classic IndyCar Series, of course, on Racebot TV and on iRacing Live is boosted by Logical Innovative Engineering. I want to give a shout out as well to Joe Real Timing, who for all oval races will be handing out a JRT Pro Key to what is our vote, Jack, of the most exciting driver.
We have, and obviously past winners. I'm not going to load them up on my screen because I do have them saved somewhere, but they are of course chosen by us, and it's usually, for me, it's usually the driver who I'd like to have it is the most deserved, the one who's put on the best show, and it's really, even if they've had issues, they've struggled through to get back up to the front of your field.
Indeed, so as we're having a look then at Matt Molnar, he clearly has to be a contender today.
I have many contenders for this award today. Matt Molnar is certainly one of them. He has had issues. He did that really long stint at the front of your field, and he's now currently running pre-5, back where he started for Matt Molnar. So for him, that's a pretty good race. And I think there are a couple of other drivers who I'd say, obviously Henry Bennett, your championship leader, currently leading the race. Andrew Wood, actually, another driver who I'm gonna say is a contender, because he started 26th and he's currently running in 2nd.
Yeah, we just got the graphic up on the screen right now. Up 24 places here today. That is incredible there by the driver of Andrew Wood. Carson Bodway is up 14 places. Jack Turner up 12 here today. So double digit movers up in your field. as well. Matt Molnar, as we say, currently in 5th place. That's exactly where he started. Only 2 people inside your top 15 are where they started. The other one being Jan Hoffman, who of course had an incident earlier on.
Yeah, he was running up at the front of your field for quite a while. He's dropped back once again. Strategy not playing into his hands very well. He has made 6 stops compared to Henry Bennett's 2. So Henry Bennett clearly going for the 2-stop strategy here today. Yeah,
indeed so. So, we are going to go back to green flag racing with a total of 58 laps to go. Bennett leads, Wood second, Grosser third, Broadway in 4th, Matt Molnar rounds out your top 5. Keep an eye out on Grosser. He's been very quiet here today, but he does know how to win at this type of track. As a pace car on towards pit road. Let's go green one more time. Molnar on the attack already on this restart over the driver of Carson Bodway. Matt Cook isn't too far behind right now. He's just passed vessel user Aliyah.
And Randy Shoemaker's just got himself past Caleb Weekly as well. Side by side, further ahead between Matt Molnar and Carson Brodby. Molnar gets a bad run off at turn number 2. Leaves him in the clutches of the 46 of Matt Cook. Clearly his broken arm isn't stopping him today as they go side by side into turn number 1 and 2 for the 196th time. And it looks as though Matt Molnar losing out on the inside line. Randy Shoemaker now going to try to the outside as Matt Cook moves to the inside of Carson Brodby, getting loose nearly on turn number 3.
Cook is on fire right now. I mean, he's got one arm that he's racing with, but he's just overtaken 2 drivers in 2 laps.
Clearly so, and as I said, it's not stopping him, and he is on the charge. Next target for him is Robert Grosser, just another half a second up the road. He's only actually 1.9 seconds back from Henry Bennett. It'd be nice to see a battle between Matt Cook and Henry Bennett towards the closing stages of this race for your race win, but at the moment, it looks as though Henry Bennett nicely sat behind the driver of Jan Hoffman, who has made an extra pit stop since we've gone back to green.
Yeah, Randy Shoemaker in P number 5 has been able to get himself past Carson Bodaway in the battle for that position. Robert Grosser remains himself in 4th place right now, has been passed for Matt Cook, but is still potentially looking at a podium if any of your top 3 drivers have a slip-up. Grosser is on 54 lap old tyres, the same as Bennett, the same as Wood. Matt Cook is on the freshest tyres of anyone right now inside your top 4, and that is 18 laps since he put on those iRacing Firestone Firehawk.
Battle for the lead currently going on as well. Andrew Wood, Henry Bennett got caught up with traffic with Jan Hoffman, and Andrew Wood now is actually stuck behind Jan Hoffman. This is going to give Henry Bennett a bit of a chance to get away. They were right on each other as Hans Pickenden gets himself past Caleb Weekly for position number 9. This has also brought Matt Cook now into the battle for the lead, so 3-way battle for your race lead. Jan Hoffman, though, is going to be causing upset with this one. Robert Grosser has lost out to Randy Shoemaker as well.
Yeah, and Matt Molnar versus Carson Bodaway. Bodaway up into 6th place. Molnar is fading a little bit, but we go on board now with the driver of Henry Bennett. You can see clean air for him right now, but we turn our attention over to Andrew Wood in the 2nd position. He is only 3 turns back. Yellow Matt Cook's involved.
And Randy Shoemaker, 2 race-winning potential drivers involved in that one. Looks as though, actually, Matt Cook got loose on the entry into 3. Jan Hoffman takes avoiding action. Matt Cook gets loose again, and actually, whoa, that was 2 separate incidents. That can't be right. Yes, it is.
They did. The 2 Aero X racing drivers did synchronized spinning.
Randy Shoemaker said hello to the yellow line in turn 3 and 4. And Aero X quite literally inventing the sport of synchronized spinning. And the 3 and the 46, well, they've just had a bit of a teammate incident that you don't often want to see.
Yeah, of course, they're not the first team ever. It was Ludicrous Speed that did it once at Texas Motor Speedway. They had 4 drivers on a restart, all spin at the same time in this car. But Matt Cook then falls down to P number 12 as a consequence. He can still get a top 5. I mean, there's not much damage to that race car by the looks of it. Although he did make contact with Robert Grosser as well, and there is a little bit of damage on that front wing that can be replaced.
And almost a big accident between Caleb Weekly and Hans Pitkinen. I think they were struggling to get around Randy Shoemaker. to go and rejoin the back of your field under the iRacing pace car. And while there was almost a massive incident between those two, Caleb Weekly having to jump on the brakes to stop and avoid. So Robert Grosser down onto the lane. Another one of your potential race winners out. And Vesiula Ollier, is he going to beat him off? No, Robert Grosser going to hold that position. So Sam Sanders as well. That was a very short stint from him. He's down to the lane again.
Yeah, and Cook is again 1 lap down. So actually, it's going to be really hard for him now to do anything in this event. But Robert Grosser is in P number 9 after that incident.
Yeah, he has dropped down to P number 9, although does have the freshest tyres apart from Vesiula Ollier and Sam Sanders. He is the person of the highest standing with the freshest tyres. We're looking up at the front of your field. Your current race leader, Henry Bennett, his tyres are around 61 laps old now, so they're starting to get a little bit worse for wear compared to those a little bit further back. Matt Cook as well has brought himself down onto the lane once again. He's now a lap down, getting that damage repaired. He has also taken new tyres, so watch for him moving himself back up through the pack, although I'd probably say the highest he's going to get now is 12th position.
So what are you afraid of? Those feelings are made up. For anyone asking who is the best, we putting our hands up.
4 more kilometers.
Oh, there we go! They cut!
This time, like the last time, I'm moving so fast, I'm ready to ride.
Frankie! Down to the inside of Hoosie's off!
Passenger throws the block, and he will keep him behind him.
My time. None of you people can tell me to stop. Lower the lights down. Hand over my crown. Hand over my heart. I do this for my town. I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time. None of you people can tell me to stop. Turning the track up. I'll never go back down. Hand over my heart. I do this for my town. I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time. None of you people can tell me to stop.
So, you want to race in NASCAR. The road starts here. Introducing the eNASCAR at Night Series powered by iRacing. This is the gateway for all aspiring 13 to 16-year-olds. Starting June 20th, ignite your dreams of one day racing in the top tiers of NASCAR.
Okay then, here are your top 8 along the bottom of your screen right now. Bennett has a chance to win this one, and what's been an up and down race here today, Jack?
Yeah, Bennett has all of a sudden been gifted a very good opportunity to win this event as they round into turn number 3 on this final pace lap. We have got another 41 laps remaining in this race, and I believe Will probably be able to do the calculations a lot better than me. That must only be about 10-15 minutes if we can go and green flag racing to the end.
11 minutes and 32 seconds it's showing in terms of estimated time, and here we are back to green flag racing once again. Good restart there by Matt Molnar, going side by side with Carson Bodaway, battle for third.
Yeah, Carson Broadway battle for third. Matt Molnar down to the inside. Is he going to have the run off the final corner? I'm not sure whether he is. And it looks as though Carson Broadway going to keep that position for now into 1 and 2 with the 211th time. Is Matt Molnar going to be able to get the position? No, he's not. Carson Broadway putting on a good fight to hold this position.
Yeah, so Molnar remains where he is for the time being. Broadaway in 4th place behind Caleb Weekly and Hans Pitkanen going at it. Weekly down to the inside for P number 5. Can't get so there because the air just taken off his car through 1 and 2. That was actually by Bodaway. He's now scrapping it out again with Matt Molnar.
And also getting bogged down. He's going to lose the position to not only Jack Turner, but also to Rory Collins. Both of those two moving themselves up the field. The car behind him is going to be Niall McBride, still a long way down in this event. 5 laps down. Battle going on further ahead. Has Hans Pitkanen got himself past for Carson Broadway? No, he hasn't. Jack Turner going to get involved in this one now as they go side by side for position number 4 into turn number 1. Has Pitkanen got the move done? I think he has. Small twitch.
Oh!
Touch between the two. Big accident off of turn number 2 there.
Yeah, Bodaway turn around, yellow flag out, 15th time here today. Replay. Well, this was then through turn number 2, having a look then from Broadway's perspective. And it was the driver ahead of him that bobbled up a little bit first. And then Bodaway tries to take evasive action, ends up causing a 3-car wreck, and I think Crosno got a tag at the end there as well.
I'm just having a look. Jack Turner was the 55 involved in that one. Wasn't able to avoid Carsten Broadway. They probably both took the same avoiding action. Not something you want to see. Carsten Broadway, I'm not sure whether there was a third car involved. Let's have a look. There was indeed.
At the start.
Yes, it was. So a lot of drivers involved in that incident as well. Hans Pitkinen, I would say that's a racing incident. He did get loose off of turn number 2.
Yeah, replay on board of Pitkinen. Yeah, there you can see the wiggle. Before you know it, they were all spinning behind him. So for Hans Pitkinen then, there's not a lot you can do. I mean, we've seen so many drivers get loose off turn number 2. But the issue is, because you're racing at high speeds on such a short track here, Jack, it does mean that the field bunches up really quickly.
I mean, of course, when they made contact, they were doing nearly 250 kilometers an hour. And if you think about how short this circuit is, these cars do carry a lot of speed through those corners. You're at 100 plus miles an hour all the way around the circuit. It's going to be tiring for these drivers because they have to concentrate so much. And for the driver of Carsten Broadway, that incident would have happened in a split of a second. Wouldn't even have been enough time for him to hit the brakes to avoid that car of Hans Pitkinen. But if he had done and hit the brakes hard enough, he would have caught a multi-car pile-up behind him. Yeah,
let's talk about Sim Racing Expo a little bit then very quickly. We will be there every single day. Racesport TV, Racesport Radio in support of iRacing. It's actually iRacing Radio powered by Racesport, it was last time. I think that's the name we're going to have to use.
Yeah, it was the Autosport show last year, wasn't it, that we had Racesport or iRacing Radio powered by Racesport. And I believe it's going to be a very similar group of people doing it again at the Sim Racing Expo.
No Paul, unfortunately. Paul's already volunteered to do something else that day. But I'll be there. And we'll have Scott Fountain there from V8 Online. I'll have Jake Sperry there, Connery Malik will be there doing some shows at certain points. And we hope to talk to as many drivers as possible. And we also will be doing commentary of both the iRacing events taking place at Sim Racing Expo.
And if I remember correctly, that is the ADAC Sim Racing Trophy and, of course, the GT500 event. I believe the ADAC Sim Racing Trophy is on the Saturday and the GT500 event is on the Sunday.
Yes.
Yes, okay, so they are the order that's going to be happening, like still on your iRacing pace car. The Sim Racing Expo is not going to be one you want to miss. Some great events going on there. And of course, if you want to go watch some real race cars instead of some pretend race cars, you haven't got to walk far because you also have the Blancpain GT series there that weekend.
Well, yeah, and also I have been told if I'm a good boy, they might even, iRacing might even allow me to get a lap of the Nordschleife in real life through the, is it ring taxis, what they called, right?
Yes, ring taxis. They're famous, of course, for having a certain driver drive for them, Sabina Schmitz, the driver who tried to get a transit van around the Nordschleife in under 10 minutes.
You know what? I would love for her to drive me in a Ford Transit. She'd kick Jeremy Clarkson out because Jeremy Clarkson's on a rather heavy side and she wanted that car as late as possible. But I would love it if Sabine Schmidt took me around the Nordschleife in a Ford Transit. I'm just saying. And also, can we get the Ford Transit scanned for iRacing as well, please?
iRacing make that happen because I want to see a video of Will's face during that.
Okay, pace car coming on towards pit road. Green flag going to come out. 32 laps to go here at Richmond, and we are green once again. Collins having a battle then with Caleb Weekly for 5th place on track.
Caleb Weekly, these guys have actually been having a good battle throughout the race. They have been running in the mid-pack, now running up towards the front of your field. We have, of course, only got 30 laps now remaining in this event, roughly around 15 minutes remaining as well. So as long as we go for green from here, we should make it on laps. It's going to start pushing for time if we have another caution. Touch wood, we won't. And, of course, Henry Bennett's still leading. Andrew Woods has got nothing to answer to the pace of Henry Bennett. Rory Collins, though, cannot find a way past Caleb Weekly. Yeah, he's stuck behind there in that dirty air behind Robert Grosser. Keep an eye out on him because he is on tyres that are 23 laps younger than what Collins and Weekly have got. In fact, Weekly's on 77 lap-old tyres and still holding on to P number 5. That's incredible, and in fact, actually, your top two are on 77 lap-old tyres. Matt Molnar's tyres aren't too much younger as Jan Hoff. Matt Cook making another pit stop, Will.
Yeah, I mean, that might be more for the fact that he has been racing now for almost 2 hours with a semi-broken arm. Let's have a look. On towards the lane. That car's got front-end damage.
That car's got left-hand side damage. I would put that down to contact. Yeah, there he is out. That's not surprising for Matt Cook. Ah, SunTrust getting more time on RaceSpot TV.
Yeah, let's get ourselves a replay of that one then for you. So, you see, he was holding the inside line in towards turn number 1 and 2. Doesn't fully come back up the track. The car's ahead of him. Oh, he tried to avoid the 75. Yeah, he just ran inside barrier, and as a consequence, we do stay green, but Cook is out of this one.
Yeah, Cook is certainly out of this one. One of your potential race winners, unfortunately, out. We are going to stay green, though. That is a good thing. He was able to keep his car offline, and good driving there by the driver of Matt Cook. He knew what he needed to do to make sure we didn't have this one interrupted. But Niall McBride now moving himself up another position. Of course, Matt Cook now losing quite a lot of laps. Battlefield race lead currently split by around 0.3 of a second. Although, as it stands, they're currently matching each other on lap times. Last time around, both setting 16.3s. Robert Grosser getting himself past Caleb Weekly, but Caleb Weekly fighting back into turn number 3. Side by side, they go through turn number 4. Loose off the edge of the corner goes Caleb Weekly. Robert Grosser gets a free pass to get past. Looks like some lap traffic as well, going to make their way past that driver of Caleb Weekly.
Yeah, and what I see there as well is the old tyres then kicking in for Weekly as he loses the position to Robert Grosser. Shoemake unlapped himself to him, and also the 55 car got past, even though he is a lap down as well. So Weekly's tyres, he's holding on, and we've got a yellow flag out on track again. That is Jan Hoffman, second time today. Replay. And fine through turn number 4. In towards 1. Yep. Back end. Through turn number 2. Again.
That looks as though it was another incident where they were coming off the banking, in fact, and it just got some oversteer. Again, that's your anti-air roll bars and your weight jackers not being adjusted to how they need to be. And, well, Jan Hoffman wasn't as heavy as Matt Cook into that inside barrier, but it was heavy enough to cause him to drop down a few positions. He does stay out on circuit at the moment. Caleb Weekly going to bring his number 12 machine down onto the lane, looking like his run at the front of your field is over. Joshua Baird as well coming down onto the lane for supposedly the final time with just 19 laps remaining in this race now.
So, you want to race in NASCAR. The road starts here. Introducing the eNASCAR Ignite Series powered by iRacing. This is the gateway for all aspiring 13 to 16-year-olds. Starting June 20th, ignite your dreams of one-day racing in the top tiers of NASCAR. Go to www.iracing.com/ignite for full details.
So what are you afraid of? Those feelings are made up. For anyone asking who is the best, we putting our hands up.
4 more kilometers. Oh, there we go! They caught!
This time, like the last time, I'm moving so fast, I'm ready to ride.
Frankie! Down to the inside of Hoochie's off!
Passenger throws the block, and he will keep him behind him.
My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. Lower the lights down, hand over my crown, hand over my heart. I do this for my town, I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. Turning the track up, I'll never go back down. Hand over my heart, I do this for my town, I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop.
The next time the Classic IndyCar Series will be on RaceSpot TV will be when we head ourselves over to Pocono for the 500 miler, including a free wide start. That will be on Sunday, August 12th here on RaceSpot TV, streaming live on iRacing Live. Then other events to come in the Classic IndyCar Series, boosted by Logical. We have got ourselves Mid-Ohio Sports Car Cause on August 26th, Chicagoland Speedway September 16th, Silverstone on the 30th of September, and then we finish off at Phillip Island on Sunday, October 14th, Jack.
A great schedule still to come up. Of course, there should be, well, I say should be because I haven't yet confirmed, a stream of the qualifying for Pocono a week before on August the 5th over on Classic IndyCar Series YouTube channel. Should be some content coming up there in the next month or so as well while we have our summer break. The pace car lights are off, with Henry Bennett's going to lead us round to green flag racing once again with 15 laps remaining in this event.
Andrew Adair-Saunders out of this one early. We'll talk to him in a moment's time. And of course, don't forget tomorrow night here on Racebot TV, Monday Night Skippies in support of Calm. That will be here live at 8 p.m. GMT, only here on Racebot TV. As the pace car is on towards pit road, green flag into the air once again. 16 laps to go, and we got a battle out front there. Bennett's restart was not that great, and Matt Molnar trying to go to the inside of Andrew Wood for second.
And if Matt Molnar can get this move done, that puts him in a good position to battle for the lead. At the moment, they're going to go side by side into turn number 1 and 2, getting very close. Andrew Wood, by the looks of it, just going to concede the position for now. Can he get the undercut off for 2? I don't think he can. Henry Bennett now is vulnerable to Matt Molnar. Matt Molnar, of course, he's on newer tyres by about 11 laps. Henry Bennett's tyres now are looking at 91 laps old. He's got to be very careful on those now.
4 tenths per second is the gap, and you can see a little bit of kickback then from the car on the exit of turn number 2. But Matt Molnar versus Andrew Wood. Wood down to the inside again in this battle for second place on track. This will actually help Bennett a little bit as Wood then goes back up into second place. Andrew Adair-Saunders is here, stood by with Jack.
Well, Andrew, not a great day for you. You are out of this event. You had a few issues. Just take us through what those were.
What did I say? I was off pace. Not an unusual issue. For me, I made took the apron low too early, which put me a lap down. But other than that, I tried to basically keep myself clean and stay out of trouble. And I could not stay out of trouble.
And well, obviously you have the summer break now. You're just going to use that summer break to prepare yourself for the 500 miles at Pocono, because that is going to be a very, very long race at a very tricky circuit.
First of all, I'm going to use that to cool down. That hit that I got in that race, it did not end up well for me emotionally. And I am not sure whether or not I will drive Pocono. I already written a message to Robert. We're probably going to talk about that, but it's a bit up in the air. I hope I can drive Pocono, but I got to go within myself whether or not I'm going to do that.
And obviously looking forward to the rest of the season. Are there any circuits which you're really excited about, really looking forward to?
First of all, I'm very excited about the Silverstone Historic Circuit. It's not very often that you can get to drive an IndyCar around there. And, of course, Phillip Island. And Pocono, if I drive it.
And well, very quickly, Andrew, before we go back to the end of this race, Henry Bennett crossing the line with 4 laps remaining. Who would you like to give a shout out to?
To DRE for their great sub pack, or add-on for voice attack, also for Logitech and Playseat for the products I use, and a shout out to my long lost teammate Caden Cumbers Badge. I miss him very much, and I hope I could race with him once again. Well,
Andrew Adair-Saunders not having a great day. He is out of this event here at Richmond.
We've got a yellow. We've got a yellow here, and there's a couple of things I wanted to talk about. Rory Collins was going slowly on track. We were showing you that one on the replay, but this race will end under yellow, and we've got the number 45 machine up on its roof almost. We've got ourselves, I believe, That was the driver who we've got ourselves the multiple onboards with as well today. Let's have a look then. Couple of incidents all happening at the same time. Number 45 machine. Have a look at Jonathan Diggs, and you've got Joshua Bard there as well. In towards turn number 1, in towards turn number 2. Well, the caution was already out, and I think the issue was Diggs saw the yellow and was slowing down because the number 12 machine was going very slowly ahead of him on track. That was Caleb Weekly. Let's have a look then. Again, yeah, Diggs has to slow down and just gets ran into behind by Joshua Bard. Let's have a look now at Caleb Weekly. He touches the yellow line through turn number 2. And we're going to see now incident developing on the right-hand side of your screen. Well, crazy end to this event here at Richmond because we are on the final lap. Henry Bennett is going to be bringing the cars through to the checkered flag. Henry Bennett will be your winner here at Richmond in what was a crazy finish there, Jack.
Yeah, it was almost, I was almost going to say we're going to come to the end, or we're going to get to the end on the green flag, and as the fireworks go off, Henry Bennett will win round number 7 of the Classic IndyCar Series from Richmond before we go to the summer break. And I think there was about 4 incidents all happened within about 30 seconds of each other. Seeing that incident, I have a feeling that the driver of Rory Collins may have run out of fuel, because I think I saw him splutter. So Rory Collins running out of fuel was the first issue. He got off the racing line as quickly as possible to avoid a caution. And then obviously those incidents between Caleb Weekly, those drivers of Joshua Baird, and also the other driver involved with that one, which I've already forgotten.
45 car, Jonathan Diggs.
That's the one.
Oh yeah, I do pay attention occasionally, but Henry Bennett is your race winner. We'll get a look then at your final race result in just 1 moment's time. We see 17 cautions here today, Jack. We were 1 caution shorter than at Milwaukee. Progress, right?
It is slow progress, and for a short track, it isn't too bad. And of course, when we go to Pocono in 6 weeks or so time, we are going to see hopefully slightly less cautions. It's a much longer circuit.
It's
the driver's
a 2-minute
also
pace lap.
Yeah, it's a 2-minute pace lap, and also it's a 500-mile race. These drivers have got to survive for 3 hours, I believe it is. That is a long, long time.
Yeah, you're looking at anywhere between 3 hours and 4 hours if there are a lot of cautions. We'll talk about that one in a moment's time, though. Let's have a look at your final race results. Well, Henry Bennett then claims victory under yellows. The times, they don't really matter at all. But we had ourselves a total of 7 drivers on the lead lap. Henry Bennett, Andrew Wood in 2nd place, Matt Molnar in 3rd, Robert Grosser in 4th, Hans Pitkanen in 5th, Vesa Ulit Olia in P number 6, and Carson Bodaway in P number 7. Jack Turner in 8th place, Caleb Weekly, of course, we saw him involved in that incident at the end, in P number 9. Sam Saunders rounds out your top 10. Behind, Jan Hoffman had 2 incidents here today, down in 11th. Randy Shoemake led laps at one point, but falls down into 12th place. Randy Crosney, his teammate, in 13th. Rory Collins in 14th, and Jonathan Diggs rounds out your top 15. Rest of those results coming up on your screen right about now. Jack, Pocono in a couple of, I say couple, in 6 weeks' time.
And well, Pocono, of course, you did mention it, 3-wide start, and we are going to be able to achieve that by having an honorary pace car driver. I'm not going to say who it is because it's me. And of course, so I'm probably going to be a little bit later getting to the commentary box for that event. But Pocono is going to be an interesting one. It's not called the Tricky Triangle for a reason. And we are running the older Pocono. We're running the bumpy Pocono, not the rescan one. So it's going to be the one that these drivers have got the most experience with. But it's going to be very interesting. These cars can get very twitchy over those bumps.
Yeah, indeed so. So, that will be coming up in 6 weeks' time. Of course, we're going to be at Sim Racing Expo. Don't forget, the iRacing Esports Network comes live tomorrow. V8 Online, LSR TV, and Us Racebot TV. I'm going to give them... there we are. We've got someone to talk to finally. Henry Bennett, race winner, stood by with Jack.
Henry, first of all, congratulations. You were on extremely old tyres. You made the two-stop strategy work, and you were one of the only drivers on that two-stop strategy. How was it running on tyres which, in some cases, were 105, 110 laps old?
I found it absolutely fine. In practice, we didn't find much drop-off in tyre performance as the fuel ran down. So yeah, we knew we may even be able to make it on one stop.
And obviously, 6 weeks' time, we head to Pocono for the 500-mile race. You're going to be going in as championship leader. That's surely going to be a very interesting one for you. Is that going to be a case of trying to get as many points as you can?
Yeah, that's the plan. Go for wins when I can, but it's all about taking home the points, driving safely, not taking too many risks.
And then, of course, rest of the season, you are going to be championship leader by some margin after going out of Richmond today. Is it now a case of trying to bring that championship home? You won the Winter Series going into 2018, and I'd probably put you down as favourite for a championship winner now.
Yeah, with that big lead with over half the season over now, I'm quite confident, but obviously things can go wrong. As we saw last year, Lucas had quite a big lead at this point in the season, and he lost it at the last race of the season to Robert. So yeah, just got to keep on plugging away, working on the setups, and executing good races. Surprised to be in the position I am now, because the short ovals aren't really my thing, and surprised with my performance today. Really, the performance of the car. And really happy that we got a 1-2, Andrew in P2 with the same setup. So yeah, a good day.
And of course, before we go and let you celebrate with your team, who would you like to give a shout out to today?
Andrew and Niall, and everyone at Powerslide. Of course, you guys at Racespot for broadcasting, and Lucas and Robert for organising the series.
And well, that is your race winner here from Richmond Raceway. Henry Bennett, the Brit, taking another win in the Classic IndyCar Series. He's going to extend his lead at the top of the standings.
Indeed, so we have got ourselves the driver of Robert Grosser coming home 4th place here today. Robert, up and down race here, but you come home in 4th.
Yeah, I never expected this, so I'm very happy about this result, to be honest. Come on, give me more than that. Talk us about you, Ace. Yeah, well, I didn't have the best setup, but so at some stage I switched over to the one that John Emsweiler shared for the CIS community. So thanks, John, for doing this. The setup worked quite well. At least it was very stable over the long run. We didn't have much long runs today, but anyways. So I was just doing a typical Robert Grosser race, I guess, for once this year. Staying calm, staying cool, and staying out of trouble, and just finish and see how far I make it in the standings. So P4 is really a great result for me.
Well, next time out, Pocono, 6 weeks' time. Can you win the big one?
I hope so. Yeah, I'm quite confident. The track should suit me, and 500-mile races always super exciting, and I'm really looking forward to this.
Shout outs, go.
Of course, to Vortex Sim Racing, Logical Innovative Engineering, Joel Real Timing, Racebot TV, and also, as I said, John Emsweiler and the Lionheart Retro Series.
Yeah, thank you very much there to Robert Grosser. Jack has stood by with the driver of Andrew Wood in second.
Andrew Wood bringing it home 2nd place today, and we've already heard that he was running the same setup as Henry Bennett, so a very similar handling car for you, Andrew. And of course, it must have been a case of get that strategy working. You went for a 3-stop as opposed to a 2-stop of Matt Molnar and Robert and Henry Bennett, who locked out the podium. What was the choice of going for a 3-stop? Because I would have thought that would have been a little bit slower.
Yeah, actually, I took on some wing damage from an incident with Yellow, and told that I had front wing damage. So I had to pit and I had to top off right there and get a new front wing, and I actually used my fast repair accidentally. But yeah, so I was kind of at the back and just trying to pick off spots one by one.
Well, that is definitely not something you want to do, is use that second life almost by accident. It's not something we see very often, and Of course, looking forward, I'm going to ask all the drivers that we're going to ask today. The Pocono 500 is obviously very different to the 3/4 mile race that we've just seen at Richmond. How are you going to be preparing for that one? Obviously, we do have 5 weeks until that qualifying night.
Yeah, it's going to be a long one, definitely. It's just preparation, just doing laps and trying to get used to how the car feels and how little changes inside the car, the tools you can get you higher positions. So yeah, it's just going to be a lot of determination and patience and at the finish, obviously.
Very quick shout outs. Who are you going to give a shout out to today?
Well, absolutely. My big shout out is to my teammate Henry. Up with a nice setup there, and my luck. I'll give a shout out to God too, because I turned up 20 minutes before this race and turned my first laps and had a rear grid penalty. So pretty much everything was against me today to not do well, but just patience and everything. So yeah, well, thanks to you guys for broadcasting as well, and thanks for all you do in the series, Robert, and everything.
Well, Andrew Wood bringing it home second position today. He did have an end of line penalty, wasn't able to run in qualifying, making his way up to second place purely on strategy. Also, your biggest mover and shaker in the field, up 24 positions.
Thank you.
Yeah, and right behind him is Matt Mona, also stood by with Jack.
And well, Matt, we saw you have good battles through the mid-pack, because obviously you dropped back due to strategy, and eventually it brought you back up into the top of the field. Just give us an insight on strategy. Were you ever going for that, planning for it hitting the 2-hour mark? Of course, the race did go to 1 hour and 55 minutes. Were you ever planning for it to hit the 2-hour mark and maybe only completing 2:30?
No, I always kind of expected it to hit 2:50. I was keeping up the pace on the old tires, and I wasn't running out of gas, so I was just going to stay out. But everyone else pitted, so kind of ruined my strategy of staying out.
And then, of course, Pocono is coming up. 5 weeks off. We're going to go, obviously, quali and then the 500. Are you hoping for a very similar result when we get to the Tricky Triangle?
Of course, I love the super speedways, and I have a big background in oval racing on iRacing, so big ovals, even short tracks too. Like, I love the pack racing and stuff, so I'm sure I'll be very comfortable out there and I'll enjoy it a lot.
Very quick shout outs. Who gets it done for you today in the number 29 machine?
Well, first I have to thank Robert and Lucas for playing this series on. It's been one of the best leagues I've been in. I had to thank Logical for sponsoring the series. I had to, of course, thank my family and my girlfriend, of course. And thanks to all the racers that make it possible out there.
One driver who was having a little bit of girlfriend issue was Noah McBride, and that explains why he finished 5 laps down. Matt Molnar bringing his car home third and finishing off your podium.
I want to make a joke about Noah McBride having a girlfriend, but he'll probably shout at me. Hi, Matt Cook. How's it going?
It's going pretty good, Will. How about you?
I'm all right. How's the arm?
Still broken, but it's okay. My left arm feels like jello and kind of balances me out a little bit.
Well, you race here today. You were up, you were down, you were leading laps, and then incidents happened. Talk us through it.
More or less just tried to get through, was driving fairly aggressive, but I felt pretty comfortable overall. Just a couple of tendencies that the car would get loose in particular spots on the track. Tried to compensate for those, and unfortunately I couldn't catch it the last time. So that ended that, but I ended up getting the 1 penalty and still made it back to the lead lap. So that was kind of fun in itself, but overall just an up and down day.
Well, next time out, Pocono, a track I know you love. The arm will be healed by then, right?
Yeah, should be, and rehabilitation will be well underway, so should be back in full strength at that point.
Well, good luck at the Tricky Triangle. Who do you want to give a shout out to?
Definitely all the guys at AeroX, and once again to Robert for hosting a great league, and you guys for doing a great job streaming it.
Well, thank you very much there to Matt Cook. That is all we have time for here tonight. Before we go, want to give a shout out to, of course, it's all about our track cams for gourmets. as well as to Andy Warner and And1 Design. We don't need to see that on screen. That's the one we're looking for. Simon Grossman, Aptioneering.com. Nick Fish and RaceSpot.tv, live timing and scoring. Jack Stiles, JRT award winner. Who is it?
I'm going to give it to the driver who finished second position because he impressed me by being able to move from the rear of the grid after having a penalty and finishing second. Andrew Wood is your winner of the JRT award today. Enjoy your real timing and enjoy that addition to your cluster of iRacing applications.
Well, thank you very much. Of course, the series is boosted by Logical Innovative Engineering. Shout out as well to John Real Timing. That guy's Jack Stiles. I am Will Vincent. Good night from Richmond.